just clicked to go. Oh, see, now I'm on. Okay.
Now
hey, you guys. This is the Logic Only Zone, and welcome to another episode of Logic Church. This is a hangout dedicated to a bunch of stuff, including philosophy, psychology, sociology, self-help, truth, and life in general. And this hangout is dedicated to discovering the ultimate meaning of everything. Hope everybody is having a good day. And, oh, just a second, you guys. There we go. Okay, so the link is available in multiple locations for you guys to join. Please share the video as you guys do. This is not because of the topics we go through. This is not something that just pops up all over the place. So by you guys sharing, that is the most important thing you guys can do to help out. And glad to be here with you guys again. And hello, Quintica, aka TJ, my co-host.
Hey, hey. How's it going, Logic?
Pretty good. So I need to tag you on Twitter or what?
Yeah, see, people get get a little annoyed with how much I spam Twitter, right? But the thing is that okay, see, all those tags. What I'm doing is I'm setting up a network, right?
Yeah.
So now you'll notice, like, on some of the tags you'll have a lot of writers, right? And on some of the tags you have like actors and stuff like that. Okay, but on a lot of them too, just for convenience, because I'm doing so many of them, it's an alphabetical order kind of thing. So you might get mixed up with you know, a bunch of people that may have opposing views or ideologies or causes, right? But what the idea is it's just that once you're tagged in that group, they get to see your profile if they choose to check it out. They go to your profile and they check that out, right? And then they may follow you, they may not follow you. But see, then the thing is like, as you go through Twitter with that, you know, over the days or whatever, maybe retweet a tag once in a while, or like tag them and follow a few of them that are interesting to you, and they should start reciprocating, right? So
okay, got it. Okay.
So you build a network in a small amount of time. Now there's people that actually pay for stuff like that, right? Pay for ads and stuff like that. And a lot of the followers aren't real people, right? They're just like sock accounts. So you might have a person that is like, well, we're going to sell you 1,000 subscribers, you know, for $20 or whatever it is, right? And the thing is that there's systems that can find that too in the system. So you don't want to really go that route, and you're not really going to have people interacting with you if you do that. So if you can actually talk to a few of these people and meet a few of these people, you know, through the internet, then then you have a pretty solid crowd base for that, right?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because this social networking stuff is just totally insane. I just cannot figure it out.
Well, you notice on YouTube, I don't have a lot of subscribers, but then you know, I'm not like actively seeking out a lot of people, right? And sometimes there's people who I might agree with on one issue, but I disagree with on another issue. So I try to maintain my own individual stance while still engaging in some of the more polarizing issues, right? And that's not really that helpful to my channel. But see, on something like Twitter, where it's just like these fast bursts of like advertisements, or you might be able to share something really quick. You can do that in a short period of time and interact with a lot of people without demanding a lot of time from them, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
interesting.
So yeah, so I'm hoping it pays off. Some people, they get on it and it takes off right away, and then other people not so much. With me, it's just kind of like the slow and steady kind of drilling it out, you know, checking out what they have to offer and having them check out my stuff and that, you know. Mm-hmm. So who do you got today?
Looks like we have Uber and Johnny. Hello, Johnny. I'm sure he'll say something when he's ready.
Oh, okay. Well, I think Johnny's muted.
It looks like it.
I'm just listening to you guys shoot the shit.
Hey,
how's it
Uber.
going, Uber?
What's going on, guys? Good to see you again.
I see you again, yeah.
Hey, what do you guys think about that big stink about the X-Man poster?
Oh, my gosh.
Is that funny or what?
You know, it's just, it goes, it's it's so laughable that you can take offense to something that's supposed to be depicted as bad. It's like, really?
Right. Yeah, and Mystique.
It's a villain doing something bad. Wow, that's a shock.
Right. And Mystique's a villain in her own right, but she's portrayed as a hero in that shot, taking on Apocalypse, right? And it's like, couldn't people just be happy that it's like, hey, you know, this strong, independent woman is standing up to the most powerful mutant, right? The god of mutants, right? And she's standing up to him. And, you know, whether she's getting her ass kicked or not isn't really the point. The point is that she's the hero in that situation, you know. And then this Rose McGowan, of all people, right, had something to say about it. And she was in that Planet Terror, right?
Yeah.
And what was that about? That was just about exploitation and shock value filming and, you know, stuff like that, right? So now how can that be all right and then the X-Men poster be a bad thing?
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, come on. Does that character depict all men or a man at all? I mean, this is
right.
A mutant. It's like the farthest thing from a human being at this point.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wizard of Oz did a pretty good video where he was he had alluded to that fact. A few other people, that he's barely a human at all at the point he's evolved at, right? And so he doesn't have, you know, his whole thing is to kill off the weak and make only the strongest mutants and evolve them and make them survive. And that's kind of what the poster is you have this mutant who, in her own right, is very strong, but next to him is virtually nothing, right? And she's still fighting the good fight, you know, and you would think that would be like a big hurrah, you know, for women's rights or women's groups.
Right. And it's a TV, I mean, it's a movie, it is not reality, right?
Right. And
documentary.
Yeah, well, did you see some of the memes that people were making of the poster?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I bet it's pretty funny.
I believe that logic is a little more higher class than looking at that scumbaggery shit. No offense at all. I would just say it.
Well, it was pretty funny, some of the stuff. Like, they had one where they put a Trump supporter hat on her, right? and made Apocalypse like the protester, right? Like, against the Trump supporters. And they had another one where they put 50 Shades of Grey under the picture instead of the X-Men. And they're like, there, now it's acceptable, 50 Shades of Grey, you know. And that's how ridiculous it is. If that were a 50 Shades of Grey picture, you know, if you had that, I forget the name of the character, whatever his name is, Grey, if he was choking this girl and holding her up or whatever, there'd be a lot of sex-positive feminists in that they're saying, all right, you know, this is good stuff, you know. It's hot. You know what I mean? So and what's funny is, like, okay, so I mean, this isn't funny, but Muhammad Ali passed away over the weekend, right? And you would think that would be like the huge story, right? Like,
nope, it's X-Men.
It's a poster of a villainous turned hero, a fictional character, getting the shit choked out of her by this godlike comic book character. And the thing is like, these films and these movies, these series, whatever, they're made to appeal to people who are older now. Because, like, I grew up with the X-Men and stuff like that. So they're made to appeal to me more than they are, like, the kids, like, is what they started out with, right? Mm-hmm. And people forget, because they do that, they forget it's a comic book. It's a comic book to pick.
I haven't really seen too much on it other than a few memes. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't really, I mean, I get, you know, it's a comic. I used to read comics when I was younger, mm-hmm. but I haven't read comics for so long. I was never a huge fan. I mean, I read them. Mm-hmm. I bought some, but yeah, I can understand why big fans would be upset when they go trying to change genders of established characters, because that's complete and total bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But and they act like they don't make new characters that are just in. I guess that's an issue too, because there's no pleasing them. You can't have a male and a female version of Spider-Man or Superman or whatever. But.
I just think just make up new characters.
Yeah,
that's
no, we can't do that
because our creative gene is being lost apparently.
Right, all the creatable characters have been created. Now we must reboot everything. That's what they act like. But see, now the comics themselves a lot of them are kind of like reboots or revamping of old myths, right? Of like Greek myths.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying. Once it's established, like the Captain America thing, okay? Once it's established what he is and what he means to the audience, sure, it's cool to shake things up once in a while by like challenging his character, right? But now it's like, okay, we have to have a Captain America's got to be a member of Hydra now, right? So now he's a traitor. Okay, then it's like Captain America's got to be gay. Well, no, he's got to be a gay black man. No, a gay black woman. It's like, and they can't. They're trying every possible, with this whole thing about multi-universes, right? Every possible story arc they could do with changing the character until the character really doesn't mean anything.
It sounds like the WWF, after I grew up, they started just changing good guys to bad guys and bad guys to good guys left and right just to keep people interested.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I used to watch it back when I was a kid. I was born in 79, so yeah, I grew up, Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, all that shit. And it was fun back then because I was a kid. But, yeah.
Right, like you've seen.
Where how many times are you going to watch a epic body slam off the top of the cage?
Right. Well, like it's always fun to see somebody like, Roddy Piper, right, as a bad guy, and then all of a sudden he's the hero, right? Or Hulk Hogan back and forth, stuff like that.
It's an epic drama. There was a writer, I forgot his name, but he said there's basically 4 stories that have just been either all told over and over again or meshed together. It's one's love and loss, one is overcoming adversity, the other is revenge, and I forgot the 4th one now. But pretty much all stories can be grouped into that whole 4 categories and some mash of. I mean, there's really only so much you can do with,
Yeah, see, that's like the, people have accepted the idea that Nick Fury is a black guy now, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. What it is it's the level of investment you have in these characters, right? Now, if we had the original Nick Fury character, the way he was, he probably would be a little bit racist. He probably would be a little bit xenophobic in that, right? Because he was like this meat and potatoes, hardcore, American soldier guy. He was supposed to typify what was going on at that time, right?
He's before my time. I don't know.
Right. Well, yeah, he's you're talking like World War II stuff, right? Like the original.
I'm not sure who Nick Fury is either.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Nick Fury, the guy in the Avengers, the guy who's the captain for I can't think of it, for S.H.I.E.L.D., the S.H.I.E.L.D. commander, right? And like in the comics, he's like this guy. He's got this kind of like a blue whatever fighting kind of uniform on, and he's got like the white bangs or the white hair, white and black hair, like salt and pepper kind of thing going. So he's supposed to be an older guy, and he's supposed to be like a tough, grizzled G.I. Joe kind of guy, I guess you'd say, right?
Gotcha.
And so that's what people accepted. Now, there were even earlier versions of him, and of course that changes over time. But now people have accepted Nick Fury as a black man, and that shows you that I think it shows that people aren't as racist. Your average person is not as racist as what people want you to believe, right? And so these comic book characters are malleable. They can be changed, whatever. But if you grew up, reading this stuff, whatever, and that, rather than change that, it seems like the thing to do would be to keep that character and develop new
Draw
characters.
on it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Make it deeper or whatever. You explain why they're that way.
Right, like let's look at the like Batman Beyond, right? Batman Beyond I thought was a cool concept because, you know, here it's set a time when Batman was no longer able to fight, and he chose somebody that reminded him of himself or whatever. And this guy was in a future that wasn't a totally distant future, but he was dealing with future bad guys, future problems, and they still had plenty of room for revamping some of the old characters. You know, by having like the son of a certain character would come to fight him or whatever, right? And that was cool. That was creative. That was you know, that took some effort to do that. And at the same time, you kept that Batman mythos kind of going.
And basically it was a sequel.
Right,
I agree.
right.
I agree. I thought that was cool. I thought it was a bit
never
edgy.
actually heard of it before now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. I'm not, you know, like I'd live under a rock for the most, all intents and purposes, so don't be shocked, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Logic, you've seen it, right? Batman Beyond?
Yes, I watched it as a kid. I thought it was pretty good. It had its own little aesthetic to it. So it was more futuristic, and there was all kinds of electronic stuff, and you know, it was a totally separate thing. So I like this, that they can basically create a new character that's like Batman. It's like an extension of Batman, and then it's its own unique thing. So this character is the new Batman, but it's totally different. I think that's okay. I wonder if they can do something like that with female characters. I don't mind if it, like, that's the thing. I don't want like a female Superwoman or, you know, Superman or whatever, or Spider-Man or something. But I wouldn't mind if it's like an extension or something. Like in addition, like the way that Batman Beyond went about what they were doing, I was okay with the fact that there was another Batman type of thing.
Right.
You know.
Hey, Logic, I gotta ask real quick. Sorry, is that a quad over your right shoulder?
What?
Is that a quad over your right shoulder sitting on that table thing?
No,
looks like a quadcopter.
These are headphones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, now I see it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry about that. I'm just curious.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was just thinking, yeah, they have characters like, okay, one of them that people are kind of going against the meme of it is this new Wolverine character that's a woman version of Wolverine. And if I'm not mistaken, I haven't followed that comic, but if I'm not mistaken, that's the one where they genetically cloned him, and they ended up with a girl version of him. Right, and so it's his. So here's what the weird connection is: because it's a clone of him, it's his daughter and his sister at the same time, which is kind of weird to wrap your head around, right? And so now this girl is she's like, you know, 17, 18, and she's supposed to be a hooker. You know, she's supposed to be on the streets and all that. And the thing is that she can do all this dangerous stuff and live this dangerous lifestyle because she has that healing ability. Right, and so she just re-heals, but her life is really, really, you know, she was like an orphan, all this other stuff, and it was a really hard time for her. Yeah, right. And so the thing is that so X-Man, or not X-Man, so Wolverine finds her, and all of a sudden he's going to try to, you know, bring her around to help her out, right? Just as Wolverine at one time was helped out, and I think that's a cool storyline, a really cool storyline. Now, see, that character was called something like X2 or X7 or whatever. She had a weird name that wasn't the same as Wolverine. Well, what they did is they took the old Wolverine costume, put it on her, and she's got the 2 blades on each hand instead of the 3. And now they're pushing it as that's the new female Wolverine, which is what has people in arms. But the actual story behind it, the original story, was a pretty good story.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. I think that's good. I just think it's too superficial to just take a character that already exists and then genderify it, you know, change it into a different gender. But yeah.
Yeah, they just, you know,
that's good.
Turn trans. You got their shit snipped off, and
yeah, well, see, it's
like Captain Hero from Drawn Together.
Oh, I don't know that one. What's that all
Drawn
about?
Together is a very bad taste comedy that was only on the air for a few years back on Comedy Central. But Drawn Together is like this. It's like Real World from MTV, but
okay.
with cartoon characters.
Right.
It was all drawn. It was animated. But the Captain Hero guy, he's like a hidden closet gay Superman kind of figure.
Oh, okay, okay.
And yeah, it's got some pretty damn funny moments. But
yeah,
well, he's Captain Hero. He's got all these superpowers, and his famous catchline is running away from danger and saying, "Save yourselves."
Yeah, well, kind of like the Tick with Spoon. You know,
Yeah,
which I never figured that out.
I never understood that show. When I watched it, that show is really psychedelic. When I watched it as a kid, I was so confused.
yeah.
You know, I wasn't sure. Like, is this supposed to be? Am I supposed to enjoy?
There's a lot of stuff that
That's kind of
look
so
up
strange.
nowadays from older shows when we were young, and God, some of the stuff that got past the censors. Have you seen the clip of Animaniacs for fingerprints?
Yeah,
No.
Animaniacs is kind of great.
Oh wow, that was probably the worst one. Fingerprints. Oh, just
So now, what's the story with that? With fingerprints. Uh-oh.
you can. I don't know if he wants to show it on here.
Oh,
Or
is it?
just
Is it?
Well, I mean, it's
appropriate?
you haven't heard it. You haven't seen it. Oh, I'll explain it real quick. It's you remember the Animaniacs?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The one brother was, they were in a apartment or something, and they said, "Okay, guys, let's search for clues. I need you to find me some fingerprints." And they're all looking around, and the sister comes up and says, "Oh, I got them. I found prints." And the other brother, she's holding a drawing of the artist prints in her hands.
Yeah.
And the brother looks at her and said, No. I meant fingerprints, and wiggles his fingers. And she's like, no, I don't think so. And throws him out the window.
Right. Well, that's kind of like WKUK had a skit called, it was supposed to be a commercial for these rings that they'd sell to kids, right? And the name of the group was Finger Ring Friends, right?
Wow.
So they're like, yeah, be one of the fingering friends, and they're like, fingering friends forever, and it's like them, and I think they actually had kids, like some of their kids playing the characters with the rings in it, and I'm like, this is a little too much, you know. But yeah, it was just an edgy play on words, you know. That was pretty funny, you know.
My goodness.
Yeah, we're gonna corrupt this guy.
Yeah, those 90s cartoons were pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like Captain Planet.
Oh yeah. Did you see? Who was it? It was some comedian, some black comedian played that Captain Planet, and what the thing was is where he goes crazy.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You saw it? Yeah. I wish I remember the guy, because he did some serious stuff. Yeah.
I don't remember who put it. I know it's on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, he just goes ape shit.
Yeah, just starts killing everyone. I'll get, you know, guys to protect the planet, right?
It was probably like College Humor or some shit like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. That's that was pretty good when that came out. Yeah. So what else this weekend is going on that's pretty crazy? Did you guys see the all the bit going on with the Trump rally with the where the Trump supporters, I guess, are being pelted with?
I heard.
Different. Yeah, and
Yeah.
They got hit with eggs and.
Yeah, and that one woman, it's like they totally dogpiled her, right? And like everyone.
Wow.
They're like cool with that, right? I mean, okay, it's not the same as saying, okay, they were like,
that, but
yeah, well, it's like, okay, she had a Trump shirt on, right? And one guy actually said, one sportscaster, broadcaster, he deleted his tweet account because he just said, well, did you see what she was wearing?
oh wow.
And so Yeah, right. It's like, isn't that the most inappropriate thing you could say?
SJWs are going to use that for fucking years now.
Well, see, the problem is that the SJWs, a great majority of them, are going to be against Trump.
I know, but they won't take shit out of it's like
right.
a group.
I got to tell you guys, I'm kind of okay with Trump. I haven't heard him say anything so logical.
Really? Like all
Not
Mexicans
really.
are rapists?
Oh, that's a little illogical. But
Let's build a wall and make Mexico pay for it.
If they'll pay for it, that's okay.
I'm good with that. Well, I'm good with that because I look at there's a few ways to look at that. First of all, I don't live in San Jose. I don't live like anywhere on any of the borders or any of that. So I can't tell these people that live there what their lives are like, right?
I got a split for like 10 minutes. I'll be on and off real quick, but I do want to say real quick, I'm not sure if you guys realize how much crops in the southern U.S. will rot in the fields if there are no illegal immigrants there to pick them.
I wonder, because there's a lot of people that don't have jobs that could do that. So I wonder if
but they won't.
Like, well, I wonder if that's the case. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they won't do it because it's subsidized, right? It's like...
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
10 minutes. If you need to kick me for if the room explodes, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, no, we won't. It'll be fine. But anyway, so TJ, do you think that's true? Do you think the crops will really rot if...
No. I look back at some of the jobs that I've had, right? And the job I have now is physically demanding, but it's not as bad as a lot of the ones I've had in the past. Now I've stacked tires in Florida, right? I've run mills. I've done some heavy lifting with carpentry and stuff like that. All types of jobs like that. And all these jobs, like the more manual kind of jobs, you had to read a tape measure. You had to know basic mathematics, right, on top of everything. Now, I train people who can barely speak, some of them, right? I train people who have never seen a tape measure in their lives. They're like 30 years old, and they've never used a tape measure, which is amazing to me, right? And there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of people who, and I'm saying, I'm not narrowing this down to race, I'm saying black, white, whatever, right? They can't read a tape measure, and I'm like, and some of these guys, I'm like, well, what did they do all their lives before they got here? Are they fashion models? Are they, what kind of work can you do where you don't have to know any mathematics at all? You don't have to know fractions. You don't have to read a tape measure. And then a lot of these guys, they can't lift a lot. They're not really powerful kind of people. They're not used to getting cut up or busted up or whatever, right? And so, and I'm not saying that as a thing where if a guy uses their brain and they can do that, that's great. Because we need people that can do that, right? But the thing is when you get somebody that comes in and they have essentially no talent and no ambition to learn anything, and somehow they're still making a living. We get people who you train, and as soon as they get their 90 days and whatever, they're trying to take off early every day, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, my job's done, everything's done. They take off, and you look, okay, there's 5 things that aren't done. Okay, well, I'm doing it now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everyone's like that. I'm saying there's a lot of people like that. Now, when you look at these, people that work the crops and stuff like that, I was just watching a case. It was a murder case, and it was about this guy who had won the lottery in Tampa. And he was a black man who was, I want to say late 20s, early 30s, who ended up winning the lottery, right? Mm-hmm. And this guy had problems. He grew up poor. He was in a area where it was poor. Everything was kind of a ghetto. And he dropped out of middle school. He didn't even get into high school, never made it into high school. And how he survived was he picked fruit, right? He's a black guy. Went and picked fruit along with the Mexicans, the illegal Mexicans and stuff. And he was a legal citizen, right? Now, he might have had a horrible life before that, right? But he made a living doing that, right? Doing those jobs that nobody will do, right? So we know that that's BS. At least in his case, it's BS. There are people who will do those jobs that are citizens, right?
Right.
Now, you know, so he won this lottery, and he right away he spent all his money. You know, he went crazy on it, right? And this woman found out about his money, and she actually had him killed, and took what was left of his money. And so, you know, that's beside the point on the story. But the thing is that you do have people that will work, that have to work, but a lot of people don't have to work because we're so used to subsidizing people, right?
Yeah.
You know, and if somebody, okay, say somebody's in a home where the parents will take care of them if something goes wrong, right? Or somebody else will help them out or whatever. If they're the type of person who's going to just suck up that help all the time, if they have no ambition, if they're taught that, you know, it's like I look at Kazumi, right? Kazumi Fowler on there on his videos, right? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, he makes these videos where he's talking about, hey, Styzor. So
just the guy I was thinking about. Go ahead, DJ.
Oh, yeah. So he makes these videos where he's talking about how people are trying to guilt him because he's on Social Security, right? Well, you know, he's on Social Security because of some psychological thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not because he gained all this weight because he wanted to be a gainer, right? Which could point to another psychological issue. I don't know. But the thing
I didn't even know that was a thing until I heard you use that term in a video.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was kind of new to me, and then I watched a special on it, and these guys were like drinking Crisco, actually drinking Crisco, trying to gain weight, right?
Oh.
And they didn't look like heavy dudes. They looked like pregnant women when they were done, right? And the thing is almost all of these guys were on Social Security or welfare or whatever. Well, you're paying for that. I'm paying for that, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't mind that they have a certain body type they want to be, even though I might find it disgusting, right? You know, that's my own subjective view on it, that it's disgusting. Okay, that doesn't mean anything, my own subjective view, right? But when I'm paying for it because of their medical problems, we have these advertisements for different specialist hospitals around here, right? Where they specialize in like hip replacements, knee replacements, stuff like that. Now, I've shattered both my knees. I've broken my pelvis. I've never had an operation. It's all physical therapy, right?
Good.
And it's
Hey, Styzor.
hey, and yeah, well, it's really painful whenever the weather changes. It's like, you know, I go from racing around to being like instant cripple for whatever, an hour or whatever, and then it comes back again, right? But it's something I have to deal with. It's something I work with. You know, I don't try to get out of my job. I don't try to lighten my load for that. But now you have these people, you see these people on these commercials, and it's mostly women, and you know, a few men, and they're all like pushing at least 100 pounds overweight, at least 100 pounds overweight, right?
Where are we going with this?
I'm talking about how we subsidize disease, right? And how
Subsidize what?
Because
we subsidize disease.
there's these people who just try to get fat to get free money.
Oh, come on, that's fucking stupid. Really?
Well, yeah, it happens, and I've seen it because I've been in the
No.
And I'm talking from experience. You may not have that experience, but I'm talking from experience.
Maybe
because
some people.
I've had,
Come on, Styzor. Maybe some people do it.
Well,
It's interesting.
when you see the commercial,
I doubt it, really. I mean, maybe in the U.S. and some. No, come on. Are you telling me you intentionally get obese and diabetes because of money?
well, yeah, there are people.
I think you underestimate the human drive for survival.
No,
Actually, that is. It's a weird
I
survival
think
drive.
what I underestimate is the people of stupidity.
Well, Styzor, you're going to have a golden opportunity today because
Right.
you're going to get to teach us something that you know to improve us so that we can be
Well,
better people.
Well, I've nearly died twice.
Right. So you definitely have something valuable to teach us.
I'm pretty fucking sure that the what what this just you watch too much fucking TV. It's just this like wow. I mean,
okay, Styzor. Okay, Styzor.
Oh.
I'm your friend. Okay, so keep that in mind.
no, you're
I'm glad
not.
to have you
Well,
here.
but okay.
Okay, all right. So.
I'll be right back. Give me a second, okay?
Okay,
You
it's
guys
just gonna
keep
be
going.
me and Styzor. Okay.
Oh Jesus Christ, this is not
So-
gonna end well, is it?
So Styzor, how are you doing, man? What have you been doing? How's your book going? How's your book?
I'm fine for now,
Okay.
at least.
How's your book?
I'm not dead, which is quite nice.
That's good.
So, you know what I love when people like make conversations like, whoa, I'm like, you've never even been close to death, and you want to make a conversation.
So
you ever
you're telling
been
me that
close
if
to
I
death?
were, so you're telling me that if I had
I just
died, then
think
I
that-
would have greater insight, and therefore
Yes.
you would enjoy conversation with me much more.
Yes, basically.
Yes, okay.
I think
I can't help you there, but
I think people who go around the internet saying stupid shit when they've never been in the position of nearly being dead should
Okay.
shut the fuck. Should
Styzor,
literally
what is this?
shut.
Oh,
No,
Styzor,
Styzor,
no.
what is this?
There
Hey,
we
tell
go.
me what
I
this
can't
is,
even finish
Styzor.
the sentence. Thank you.
Hey Styzor, I am totally, even though sometimes you say things that aren't nice, I want you to know that I'm totally willing to be your friend. And there's
No, but
absolutely nothing you could ever say.
what I would say
Styzor
is,
could never offend me. I just want
no,
you to know.
but what? No, I know logic. You host
that's why,
good
yeah.
hangouts. No, you host good hangouts, and that's all good, and you mean well, and I don't well, I don't go against your position, but I fucking hate people who go around the internet saying, "Oh, I know what it's like to be dead," when you fucking don't.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You never fucking have, and I've done it twice. I mean, seriously.
That's
I mean,
Styzor, that
that's
is some
fu-
edgy
no,
hardcore
it
stuff. I will hand it to you.
no, it insults
cool.
my fucking intelligence. Is what it fucking does.
Yeah.
No, it fucking insults me. You've never been sat in a hospital with your fucking legs ripped open like a fucking chicken, laying there thinking, "Oh my fucking god!" You've never been there, but yet all of a sudden you got this like, well,
Yeah.
I've got an opinion. Yeah, you fucking have. Did you die like me? Nearly? No. Oh,
No, I
shut
have
the
not
fuck.
died.
Exactly. So shut
No,
the fuck.
but I disagree because Styzor,
Shut the
that
fuck
is experience bias. That is therefore illogical.
Experience
That's a
bias.
fallacy.
Wow, jeez, come on. Don't fucking do that.
What? What do you? Oh, it's
That's,
logic is logic.
well,
sir.
I'm gonna play to what at this point. No,
Okay.
I'm telling you, dude. I've nearly died fucking twice. I will fucking tell you what happens when you're fucking dying.
Okay, all right.
And you know what? You
But
know the
that's-
one
that's
thing
just
you
a-
don't do. I will
It's
say
a good
this to you,
story,
Logic.
Styzor.
Hold on. I'm gonna say this to you, Logic. The one thing you don't do is pray to God.
Okay, Styzor. Here's
That
the
is
thing, though.
honestly the truth.
Styzor, why is it that you're so interested in what other people are thinking in terms of
Because
what they believe or think? Like, why is that such a significant and important thing to you?
because it's a correlation. We have to know because a belief.
Why do we have to know, Styzor?
Because the universe operates this way.
Okay, wait, hold up. On that
Go
note,
on. You
here's
know
10
what? You're
reasons
gonna ask
why
me
we
this.
know
Go on,
nothing.
let's go on.
Here are 10 reasons why we know nothing, Styzor.
No, that's a fucking article you fucking read. Don't put me in that fucking equation.
I'm just trying to help you out, buddy.
Don't put me in that equation.
10 reasons why we know nothing.
No,
Dreams. What the
that's
hell
got
are
nothing
dreams?
to do with me.
Yeah, we don't
Nothing
understand
to do with
this.
me.
But
No,
but there
you
is
can't
some
use
stuff here.
them. You can't use them. That's got nothing to do with me.
Life.
You can't use that shit because they're all a fucking.
We don't understand the universe. We don't know.
Yeah, I can show you.
History. What the heck is going on with this art? What are we doing with art? What is going on here? This madness. Dinosaurs. Literature. What drives people to create art and literature?
Yeah,
What are
but,
these dreams
okay,
we're having?
hold on. Hey, stop.
I'm just saying, hey, the thing is, like, we really don't know what we
You're
think that
more
we know
angry
here.
than fucking guy.
There's a lot going on, so.
Slow down a little bit.
Is it too much? Styzor, is it too much too quick?
No, it's you just.
Is it too much?
You're angry. Just slow the fuck down.
Don't get angry. Just accept it.
No, I'm telling you, you're fucking angry. Slow down. Just
Okay.
chill the fuck out.
I'm just trying to
Drink
help.
your coffee, I'll drink my vodka, and we'll
Okay.
all get along. Just
All
chill the
right.
fuck out. Go slower. Alright?
Okay, I'll try. But I'm just
Okay.
I'm just on the caffeine. I'm on the caffeine.
Well, that's fine.
Now, so.
There's nothing wrong with fucking caffeine either.
Don't be. You're right. There's nothing wrong with caffeine.
Fuck no. I like caffeine and vodka. Both at the same time, technically speaking. But what I'm trying to say is, right, if we
But it
hold
says you.
but the problem is, if we hold assumptions, then where did the assumptions come from? Is the problem.
Speaking of assumptions,
that is why we have philosophy. No, because you look at this. 10 reasons we know. Well, we don't know. That's a misleading topic. And that's the point. That's called propaganda, but you will accept
Wait.
it as,
Is the propaganda saying you know something, or saying we're not sure we know anything? Which is the
no,
propaganda?
it's saying we know, and that's false.
Right. Well, this is saying we don't know.
No, it's saying we do. That's why it's giving.
Also, we could also review the Socratic argument for the existence of the soul.
No,
I think that's also
scroll
a
back
valid
up.
claim on
Scroll
existence
back.
of the afterlife.
Scroll back up to the top.
Okay.
It says we know. Is that true? Yes or no? No,
Where
it's
is this?
not. No, it's not even true. So
What's not true? What's not true?
Knowing.
Well, it's hyperbole that we know nothing, right? That's
bullshit. That's
the article's meant to, the title's meant to grab you. Right?
Yeah, so it's not, the title isn't the argument. The arguments are within
No, but that's how we use propaganda.
I know, but you know, he wants somebody to read the thing.
So is it true then? Yes or no?
Well, we know some stuff, but actually what we know,
we know
is
some
a minuscule amount compared to what we don't know.
Yeah, but is
sure.
that title true?
Well, if you doubt everything that you think you know, then that would be true that you would know nothing.
No, but I'm asking you, is that title true?
It's subjective. It's
subjective, yeah.
Okay, so therefore it's not true then, is it?
No, the title isn't the argument.
No, it would be subjective. Subjectivity is not a truism, is it?
Well, it's hyperbole.
Objectivity is a truism.
Okay, but let's go beyond the title.
Okay, so you want to go beyond the title, which makes no sense. But you want to go beyond it because there's an article underneath it, which does the exact same thing.
I mean, really here, this is just a list of, Styzor, this is a list of things that are unexplainable.
I could make a list
natural
of
logic, through
make
science, things that we just don't understand.
Look, Mr. Logic.
Like Styzor, we don't even know. Here's the thing: you even admit that the universe somehow, through means that which we do not understand, was able to create life.
The universe itself prerequisites your understanding of the fucking thing that we live in, right? So what it means is that the universe itself inherently says that you shouldn't know. It's impossible to know.
It's assuming, because we could still maybe know.
Exactly.
Or maybe not.
No, we could assume. Assuming's not a bad thing, right? But saying that
I might say it is
a pretty shitty idea. Just saying.
Life.
Well, do you know what fucking how hot it's gonna be tomorrow? How do you fucking know that? Well, we use mathematics, right? We use statistical analysis. Can you tell me how you fucking knew the universe knows how to make a fucking sun?
Right,
No.
but Styzor. Okay, so there are properties that which we understand and some we don't. For example, gravity doesn't necessarily follow the laws of physics. In fact, one of the parts here
I will
explains
totally agree.
how
No, I will
it
totally agree
doesn't.
with this position. No,
Yeah.
gravity is one of the fucking strangest forces in the fucking universe itself. That's why I have two of them. You have one in Newtonian physics, and the other one is stuck in quantum mechanics. We have a big G and a little g.
Right,
And the
but
reason why that is because we don't know what the fuck it's doing.
and I
That's why we
think
have the quantum theory and the standard model, and they don't fucking like each other.
right, and I think
They
the
don't.
trouble here, Styzor, is that, for example, there's this stuff like dark matter and things like that. I mean, dark matter in
They're
itself,
placeholders.
I know, but look, like we're considering things like dark matter and string theory. This stuff, although later on it can be looked at as part of the objective reality that we can observe and understand,
Well,
it
it is
has
subjective.
a supernatural element to it. It has a beyond the objective perspective. So that here's the thing, like the truth that we ultimately end
Not
up finding out
supernatural.
might be something that's totally beyond what we can even
It-
comprehend.
it-
Something
it's not-
incredible.
It's not supernatural. Supernatural is not equating natural order in science.
Something. So my terminology was something that could be perceived as if it were, not that it were supernatural. But yeah.
Well, I don't know what your definition of or what you were trying to translate there.
I meant it as perceived as beyond, outside of what is conceivable.
Well, that makes no sense. It can't be outside.
Okay, we can argue over the semantics of a word all day.
But this is the point. You need to argue about semantics because you're suggesting that outside of something is plausible. Okay, let me ask you a basic question. Is there anything outside the... God, I have to phrase this the right way. Is there anything outside of your reality which you are aware of?
I don't know what you're saying, Styzor.
Okay, let me say it again. Is there anything outside of your reality that you're aware of?
Yes.
Or is it possible? What?
I think so. I don't know. What
You Okay, I will say it slower. Maybe you.
Yes, maybe my weak intelligence will then understand what you mean to describe.
Okay. Is there anything?
So absolutely anything.
Whatever.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Outside of this parameter that you're aware of.
Okay, first we have to define the parameter.
I just did.
Okay, you lost me, Styzor. I think your intelligence
eludes
me, sir.
Okay, look. What I'm saying is,
I'm lost.
Can you exist and not exist at the same fucking time?
Maybe. Oh, here's something. I think maybe this will answer that.
You said
life comes out. So here's the thing. Death, life. Life occurs out of death. Life ends in death, and then from death, life again.
I didn't answer that question.
Okay. It sounded like it might have fit with what you were saying.
No, I wasn't trying to be a cheery ass motherfucker. I'm asking you a question. I want you to answer it. Can you fucking exist and not fucking exist at the point?
I'm not sure I cannot fucking exist, but I might be able to exist.
I know you want to be funny, but you're not funny.
Okay.
But can you just answer my stupid fucking question?
You see, the only reason why I'm resorting to humor is because I do not understand what you're trying to ask me.
Well.
So if you could.
All right.
Let's get a little more nitty gritty.
All right. What's 0 plus 0?
0. Right? Oh, am I wrong? It's 0, right?
No. Is it a quantifiable thing? You see where
Maybe.
No, you don't. You don't get what the fuck I just asked you. I guess.
Technically, life arises out of zero in a
But
manner.
there's no such thing as zero. Zero is a concept that was constructed by human beings.
Are you sure?
And
I'm pretty sure the Indians did that a long ass time ago. Just
it
saying.
doesn't matter who made it, who came up.
It doesn't matter, but it's fucking true.
It's needed.
Yeah, it is.
I
Definitely.
don't know.
Or you'd be fucked. Well, you
Obviously,
don't know.
we need zero
Well,
and
hold on a minute. What you just said you don't know. How the fuck do you think you count to 10? Well,
Zero.
you don't know. You don't know
You start
how to
with
count to
nothing,
10, you
and then
moron.
You have 1.
You don't know how to count to 10.
Okay,
I
let me
just
try.
gave you the parameters of why and the philosophy behind zero, and you just said, I don't believe it. You need to fucking stop being a moron.
But, okay,
No,
my
I know
rationalization.
you think you're funny. No, I know you think you're funny, and I
Styzor,
like it.
my rationalization.
I like it.
I
No,
like you too,
can't
Styzor. So
rationalize
here's
fucking
the thing, Styzor. So
No,
okay, so
no.
I think it's time for a group hug.
I know.
History proves you wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You can't do that.
Hold on,
I'm
Styzor.
sorry.
Let me try to respond to you, okay? Because that's what you want. So, okay, if there's no zero, Styzor, then how does life?
There is a fucking zero. That's what we got.
Oh, okay. So there is. Oh, wait. So there is no zero. Now there's zero.
No, there is one right now. Like that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, there's nothing.
6.
Nothing is possible.
Okay, can I ask you a question, just as a mathematician type of person? What's the highest?
I'm not a mathematician type person.
Okay, well that's good, but so I'll ask you this question just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's the highest number in the universe, according to human beings? That is.
There's a 1. There's a 9. A lot of zeros. There's 999. No. There's something.
Oh well. At least you're kind of close. It is 9 actually. It's the highest. It's the highest digit known to humans.
Yeah, it's named after some mathematician. I forgot his name.
Yeah, but it's the highest.
Why? Why do you bring that up though?
Because we have 2 digits after 9. 9 is the highest single digit.
Okay, but why bring that up? What's the purpose?
Well, the purpose is that how do you explain your own existence and then claim to say it's God? It's a bit stupid, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's stupid.
So
I think to look at reality, to look at your life, look at all of the unexplainable things like the after-death experiences that some people are having, to look at dreams, to look at
does not matter.
Stuff like gravity that doesn't obey the natural laws. Styzor, here's the thing. If scientists make life, then I'll probably give up my agnosticism. If scientists produce life in a controlled environment, then I think that's it.
You just said something that's really funny. You said gravity doesn't obey the natural laws.
But that's only upon my weak wisdom of what gravity is, and also what I just cited here in this article.
Where did you learn that? Where did you learn that from?
Yeah, just right here, where I read it right here. I'm not an expert in math or gravity. I'm just saying, like, I'm just reading this.
No, look, the beauty of linguistics is understanding how people speak. And I fucking love it. Hence why I'm a troll. Now, if you're gonna say stupid shit like that and then go, well,
it's that like hold up. This is my impression of Styzor.
Okay. Now I get an impression of me. Okay.
You the logical zone. Here's one thing that you're not an expert on, and you said something about it. Therefore, anything else you ever said is invalidated. I win. That's my impression of what you just said.
Nope.
That's pretty much what I got.
That's your impression of yourself, not me.
Oh,
That's your impression of yourself.
my mistake. I guess
Well,
maybe.
okay. Styzor, is there a point to what your question?
Yeah, what do you want to prove, dude?
Okay, you're asking him if he can perceive that which is outside of his perceptions. I would say no, right?
Exactly, but he wouldn't admit that shit.
Okay, but then he might be looking at it in a metaphysical sense.
It wouldn't matter. He would still fucking lose.
Well, if you really analyze that question, you could say, well, do I know what I am,
Well,
or do
no,
I know
you
what my
can't.
perceptions are?
You just already killed yourself. You said what? That's the problem.
Well, but Styzor,
It's
you
a
sound like
paradox. I'm sorry. No,
speak like you
I'm
might
sorry.
be right,
It's a paradox.
You speak like you might be right, but what you're saying is not right. You're not proving anything. I'm not convinced by what you're saying.
What the fuck
I'm
am I
a logical
trying
for
to
my
prove?
person. You know, all you have to do is tell me
Okay.
the argument. You don't have.
Okay.
It's not about winning here. You know.
Well,
You win. I don't want to win.
No,
I just
hold on.
understand what you're saying.
Ask me what I'm trying to prove.
Okay. What are you trying to prove, Styzor?
Fuck all. There we go.
Okay.
So
ladies and gentlemen, Styzor.
The problem is mute, right? I want to understand your position, though. That's different.
Same with me. I want to understand your position.
Yeah, but my position is the universe is a fucking crazy place, and you've got no fucking reason to tell me what the fuck it's doing.
That's what I'm saying too, Styzor.
Well,
That's what I'm saying too.
I guess we both win then. So.
Except that I think our approaches are a little different.
Yeah, well, that probably is the case.
But you see, but here's the thing.
It doesn't mean
because
that they're indifferent, though, does it?
But my perspective, Styzor, is that because of that, therefore, I have hope because of what there is. Somehow, you look at this thing in a negative way, and I don't. And maybe that's. But you know what?
What do you mean negative? Explain that. What do you mean negative way? Explain.
You're looking.
How do you look at my perception of reality as negative?
Because of your personal presentation of self.
The anger. What's behind all the anger?
Yeah, the man behind the anger.
But does that mean that I'm wrong?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, because of your subjective nature of your
No, because life is a construct based upon rules and principles.
And you just made one up.
Wait, but what everything is made out of, if you're not doing it right, then things don't work. It's like if you put a machine together the wrong way, it's like if you don't put the cord in there tight, if you don't get it in there, it's gonna start sparking. It's not gonna function right.
Are you saying I was put together wrong by the universe?
Well, not necessarily put together wrong.
You're implying it though, right? Because you think other people are stupid, and I'm fucking.
No. Sometimes, but here's the thing: we're capable of making ourselves too. So, then
what makes you fucking right?
My argument is not that you're wrong or right, but that a negative perception is probably not a correct one because of how fundamentally unuseful it is for the purpose of life.
Didn't you just imply that though? So you're implying something.
Oh no! See, Styzor, the only reason I did that is because you were doing it to me, and I was just giving you a taste for a minute.
Have you got any evidence to back up your claim?
What? No. I don't have a claim.
Yeah, no, you just did. You just said that was wrong, so back it up. Give me some evidence.
I did. I just talked how if the mechanism isn't functioning, maybe there's an issue with the mechanism. You know.
Yeah.
You're pressing the wrong buttons, like Gary would say.
But that's got nothing.
Pressing the wrong buttons.
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with me. That's a subjective narrative. Are you fucking retarded?
But maybe life is partially subjective.
Well,
so then if life is partially subjective, that would make you a fucking ass clown at this point. Correct?
Well, that's your negative perception.
What am I negative about? You just implied that. Are you kidding? No, you're implying I'm negative.
Well,
I'm asking.
Styzor, I want to show you one thing.
I'm asking.
No, wait. I'm going to mute you for a second because I have something I want to say. So Styzor, I just want to say, like, like you've said all kinds of negative things about me, saying that I have all of these problems, that my perception is inaccurate, that I am of this low quality of being, and things like that. And I just want to note that I've only stated one time that maybe because of your attitude, you might be wrong on this on that basis alone, because it means that your functionality is therefore partially inconsistent. Things aren't working properly. So on that basis, there may be some inaccuracy on your part. Now, this is the only negative thing that I've said about you, and so I just want to note that there's a big difference between you and me, in that you can say things like that to me, and I don't get offended. So I want you to try to do the same thing. I only did that to give you a little bit of taste of what you were doing to me. But generally, I don't think that type of stuff is cool. But it's okay. But it's okay. I just want you to know, like, kind of don't, let it go. Don't get all carried away.
Well, I would say in my defense, because you just like shut me off and shut me down.
Wait, no, yes, dude.
Let me finish, because you just shut me down.
Styzor, can you listen to what I said, buddy? Did you hear what I said? Like, it's not. Don't get upset.
I'm not upset. Be fair. This is how I speak. I know you think I'm being angry. I'm not.
Styzor, I was just talking about being fair. It's what I said.
Look, dude, it's how we speak.
That's how you're speaking to me.
No, it's just how people where I live speak. We literally speak this way. So chill the fuck out.
Oh, okay. No, I am. I'm cool.
Okay, good.
If you're cool, I'm cool.
Well, what I would say is, right, you have an opinion, and we just disagree. That's it.
I'm okay with that.
Well, that's it. But don't come across like I'm trying to belittle you or some shit, because I ain't.
Well, then why do you have to insult me? Not that I care.
It's but that's what I was saying. It's just how I speak. It's Americans. I'm sorry, Americans, but it's just they're not used to the way we speak. I'm English.
I just don't agree with that. I think that you.
Well, I don't give a fuck.
You gotta degrade other people.
I don't give a fuck what you agree with. I'm just literally telling you, suck it up, bitch.
I'm just pointing out a differentiation in the way that you're choosing to interact with people in comparison with me, and how I'm dealing with some negative criticism and how you are.
I'm not even being negative. You think I'm being negative.
Styzor, it's just how Americans speak, okay?
Yes, it's how Americans speak.
You gotta deal with it.
Exactly.
I have no idea. He thinks I'm being like a nasty person. I'm not. I'm not being a nasty person.
Where are you from? Can I ask where you're from?
Fuck you talking to?
I think he's talking. Yeah.
Because I just watched something about Cockneys and how even when they're trying to be polite, they're rude as fuck.
Yeah, but that's English people for you. Monty Python. It's just how we do shit. Yes. I mean, we don't mean to sound like cunts, but we sound like cunts. I don't know. I mean, we don't mean to sound the way Americans think we sound, I guess. But yeah, that's how we speak. And if
you could maybe see maybe if you worked on the language a little.
I don't need to.
I think that
maybe a few courses.
Maybe you should stop being a fucking pussy. How about that?
Or maybe why don't you be okay with my mannerism, as I am okay with yours.
Yeah, well, I like to spell color with a U, and you fucking don't. So fuck off.
Okay.
Yeah, because
sometimes I do. Sometimes I spell with a U.
I'm just saying, dude. It's just the way it is. It's like we can.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But you're the one who's not okay with me.
I just fucking said that's the fucking problem. Jesus Christ, did you not listen to what I said? I said that's the problem.
I for one don't have a problem with spelling color with a U.
Okay. From now on,
That's
in
the
my
problem.
hangout, Styzor is allowed to communicate with anyone as in any way he wants, and we need to understand, to understand that's how he's allowed to speak.
Yeah, but
It doesn't mean
everybody
that other
else should be
people
allowed to
can
speak
do
the way they
anything
want
similar.
to.
That's okay. And I just want to say that Styzor has these special requirements of
Thank
us,
you.
how we perceive him, and I just want everybody to know that
I want everybody
that's
else
what's
the way
required
they
here.
want to speak. I want everybody else to fucking speak how they want.
I think most of us do.
And that's
Hopefully.
okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking better had, because I would be pissed if somebody came in the room and they had an opinion and they fucking spoke weird or some shit. I don't fucking know.
You haven't talked to
Fuck
Dr.
'em.
Deity yet.
However,
No, we
we
have.
are
He's a
however
fucking
we are
fella.
responsible. We are responsible for our behavior, and because our purpose here is of dialogue, I do think that language
okay.
conducive to that dialogue is encourageable.
Well, well, you all speak my language, not the other way around. So.
All right.
Just
So,
saying.
Styzor, since our first topic is teaching each other stuff, why don't you teach us how to communicate like you?
Well, what I
And
would
we
say.
can-
No, honestly, on a funny / true thing, I would say linguistics. I think it's important. One of my favorite people is Noam Chomsky.
I don't like Noam Chomsky at all, but go ahead.
Well, you know, you can have your opinion. It doesn't matter. But I
I
would
don't like
say,
socialism, but go ahead.
yeah, well, I would say understanding how we interact with each other is a good thing. We might disagree, probably, or whatever, but I think at least understanding how that happens is a good idea. In the sense of like learning.
Cool.
I mean, you don't need to like know Chomsky or whatever, but I think understanding how we speak to each other is pretty important.
Yeah, I guess my problem with Noam Chomsky is he visited the Emperor of Japan and had lunch with their family. I think sitting in the same room as an emperor who is a self-proclaimed god, I think is against his philosophy. I find that to be rather awkward.
Yeah, well,
Things like that.
Yeah, well, we dropped bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
And two wrongs make a right. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. So fuck it. But I would say in terms of how we speak to each other, I would just say like we can disagree. This is the fucking beauty of humanity. I know. Jeez, we don't have to agree. That's the beauty. We can disagree and still agree at the same fucking time. Right? It's just how you do that is the difference.
Exactly.
Get what
How
I'm
you
saying?
do that is the difference.
Yeah, that's the point I'm saying. It's like, well, I can say fuck off, and you can go, well, fuck you, and I'll be like, well, okay. So it's the big deal comes from how you apply it, right? Get what I'm saying? So I don't mind disagreements. It's how you disagree is the problem.
Okay.
How you implement that kind of
Cool.
frustration.
So TJ, you want to share something?
Oh,
Teach us.
excuse me. Yeah, I was getting
Teach
into
us so
it.
wise.
Come on, TJ, you lazy bastard.
so okay. So am I sticking with the topic?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll fucking talk about whatever you want. I don't give a fuck.
Well, what would I teach, right? If okay, now I thought about this earlier, and I guess it depends on the situation, right? Like, if you're in a dystopian world or whatever like that, right? You might want to teach somebody how to make fire if you knew that, right? I would try to teach somebody I guess the value of fractions. You know, I'm not a big mathematician. I've always said that I'm not really good at that, right? But as far as fractions and stuff like that, it is very useful in a lot of ways, right? And in terms of timing too, with music and everything else. So Music in and of itself may not seem like an important thing in a lot of situations, but the idea, the concept of timing and being able to manipulate how you, not really manipulate time, but how to use timing to aid in whatever you're doing, I think is very important.
It is.
Yeah, and so I would try to teach that. If it came to, say, relationships, right? You know, if it's a thing where you're teaching a young guy about women or whatever, like, you know, what kind of women are you going to meet? I would say, look, they can be every bit as nasty and divisive as men can be. And so, you know, and I would say that don't judge all women by whatever.
That's the whole fucking thing that's going on right now with the fucking feminism shit, right?
Well, see, the thing is that feminism, you know, which we could get into the origins of it or the how it's tied to socialism, but the idea is that with feminism and the reactionary anti-feminism or whatever, is this idea that you know, people.
I know you don't like it though.
Well, what I'm saying is people don't. Not all women act the same way. Not all men act the same way.
I know. You know what? Most of the people who I know on my Twitter hate the whole feminist shit. They're fucking idiots.
Well, it is a collective, and the thing that you have to look at is that, okay, like if you say I'm an actor, right? You say I'm a thespian, I'm an actor, right? Okay, and say there's an actor that happens to be somewhere in the world that is a really bad person, that's done a lot of really bad things. Okay, that doesn't automatically make you a bad person because this other person is an actor. Okay, but the problem that I have with feminism when I try to apply that logic to feminism is that I'm told by some people there's only one feminism. I'm told by other people who claim to be feminists that there are several types of feminism. I'm told that some feminists are not feminist and other feminists are feminists, right?
But this is the thing, right? I mean, I totally fucking agree with you, right? But at the same time, there is a position. That's the best word I can come up with because I don't know fucking whatever word to use. But there's a position where women should be treated equal.
Well, see, okay, right there it goes to. Okay, well, I want to take that sentence because
I have to say that very carefully.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. What you're saying, it has been said by a lot of people, and I've even seen that in definitions for feminism. Okay, but here's the point. Okay, feminism has this position that women should be treated equal. Okay, now the sentence just hangs there, right? It's like it's not telling me anything because it's equal to what? Equal to men.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like you gotta understand English. That's what I was saying before about linguistics. Is that you need to understand how to say shit, because if you say shit the wrong way, somebody's gonna go, oh, right time.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, exactly, but when you say, and I'm not saying that you're the only one that does this, and I'm not holding you to this definition or this characterization or whatever, but when people say that feminism is the idea, the concept, the movement, the action, the belief that women should be treated equal, that makes no sense, the sentence, because what it leaves hanging is equal to what? Equal to your average man. We don't have one type of male. We don't have one type of woman, right? We have different classes, right? We have people who have a lot of money.
What it's saying is that men and women are the same. But
actually, it doesn't say
feminism,
that.
But what I'm saying is, in its nature, feminism naturally will cause a divide, sadly.
If feminism was the Aaron Rod definition, like he says it is, if it didn't, act completely against that, then I don't think most people would have an issue with it.
Well, they don't. It's
Yeah,
a
a lot of people do because it's getting lumped into with the SJWs that want
I
to
was about to say that
control all
actually.
that shit.
I was
And they're
literally
doing
about
a
to
pretty
say that.
goddamn good job of it.
I don't. I mean, my
As
country's a
far as
fam.
well, look at
I'm just gonna
look at
say
the old school feminists that have been thrown under the bus.
yes, because right, they've mixed different fucking things with stupid shit, and it's because of YouTube.
So,
I'm sorry,
Styzor,
guys. Go on,
I think you can agree that what Martin Luther King said was correct, that men and women, that anyone should be judged by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin or their
fucking
gender
yes,
or anything like
yes.
that. And I think we all agree with that here. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to say that jeez, I don't know.
good job, Styzor. You did good. Okay, so
I don't know. Fuck off.
No one's attacking me.
no. So Uber, do you have anything to teach us?
Oh Christ! I knew that was gonna. I guess I could teach you how to tune a guitar and harmonics.
Go on, Uber. You're so fucked.
I guess I could teach you how to tune a guitar and harmonics.
I don't know. I play bass and guitar. I play bass left hand and I play guitar right hand. So I don't. What do you want to teach me?
I didn't say.
I play them both, pal.
Well done, Styzor. Well done.
Okay, it was forced.
I have played a bass before. It was a lot easier.
I was forced. I was literally forced as a child.
Anyway,
I didn't fucking know. No, I swear to God, I'm not kidding. When I was a kid, I grew up at school, and they basically made me play a guitar right-handed. And when I got old, I got stoned and whatever. Yeah, I figured out that I was actually good at
I'm
playing.
lefty, so I had to buy lefty.
Yeah, seriously. But I never knew until I got fucking stoned.
Mhm.
So I can play both, right-handed and left.
No, apparently you can learn it if you try, but yeah, I didn't.
Fucking hard though. Fucking fingers bend like shit.
So,
I like bass
One's
better.
more comfortable.
Uber, do you have any songs?
Me? Fuck no.
Do
No.
either of you guys? What about you, Uber? Do you have any songs?
No.
No. You should record some stuff.
It's painful. Fuck off. You fucking record them instead.
I do.
If you actually, if you buy a left-handed guitar, it's cut for a left-handed person, so it's not as awkward as playing right.
It's still fucking painful though.
It's
Well,
painful?
well, the thing is, I play left-handed bass, not a guitar. There's a difference. I play
For a
left-handed
lefty
bass.
or a righty.
I'm ambidextrous. I play both.
So which way do you play it?
Well, bass or guitar.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I play guitar right-handed, which is painful as fuck.
Play lefty.
I play a bass guitar left-handed, which is fucking awesome.
Cool.
Maybe you should play guitar lefty too.
I don't. Why? Why would I do that? Bass is better. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I like.
That's fine. I mean, you know.
I agree. Bass is better.
I can play. I've played EastEnders, fucking all kinds of weird. I can play the most weirdest shit on my fucking bass guitar, and a lot of Bob Marley songs. So yeah, fuck that.
As far as what the question I read on the link to this invite here was, last day on earth, what can you teach somebody? I guess I would try to teach somebody how to make fucking wood alcohol.
Well, I'm always drunk,
What
so
alcohol?
I don't.
No, it's not to drink. It doesn't get you drunk. It just
Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to teach somebody that they shouldn't worry about what life is. Worry about what you can do with your existence.
I totally agree.
I would say that would be
It's
my. If God's real, I don't give a fuck. If he isn't, I don't give a fuck. What I give a fuck about is you and me. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about the situation that we found ourselves in? That's the fucking point for me.
No one's
And
ever.
I like holding that position.
Cool.
This-
So
that's-
hey,
this
so
is
hey,
my-
Five Guy, do you have anything you want to share? Anything that you could teach us?
Yes. Not so much as far as things that we can teach, because everything I know, comes from someone else, so there's already no knowledge. But if it was like my last day on Earth, I would just have a bit of advice to share with people, and that is to not be afraid to learn from other people's mistakes, because you don't want to end up like I was and had to figure out things on my own. You don't have to necessarily just do things on your own. If someone tells you that the fire is hot, you assess the situation, look at their 5th-degree burns, and come to the conclusion it's like, okay, I trust you. That fire's over there is pretty hot. Not to say that you just kind of feed into any BS that anyone tries to put on your plate, but you do have to make decisions on some things that people tell you, and you don't have to go ahead head first on your own.
I think you kind of mean no one to suck in your pride.
Well, just be a nice person, man. It's like what? Even like what's
That's
wrong
right.
with
Be a nice person.
What's
like
wrong
Styzor
with that,
says.
though? What's wrong with that? What? Even if God exists, man, what's wrong with being fucking nice?
That's what I'm saying. That's yeah.
Nobody's
That's
saying
not
no
Styzor.
evil.
No, I'm being nice in the sense I'm saying is like I don't agree with God and shit and all that stuff, but look, even if you do, what's the only important thing? Well, it's treating each other like fucking people.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think most of us here do.
Yeah, we're all fucking cool ass motherfuckers anyway, so.
Well,
Okay.
We just have different ways
flattery
of
will get you
expressing it, right?
Yes.
No, it's true, man.
Different
we're all-
cognitive frameworks.
Yeah, we're all the same, but we play
we're
our shit
just a
different.
bunch of bastards on G+ bullshit.
Yeah, but you know what? We are fucking nice. That's what we are, dude. Fucking nice.
Depends.
That's what. No, I'm seriously. I am fucking kidding. Right now, we're fucking nice people.
I was in a hangout a couple days ago when Nephilim Free came in. I wasn't very nice to him.
Uh-oh.
Oh god, there we go.
He actually
Oh,
he had the brass to say something about DNA, and I just like, oh, we were not talking about evolution at all or anything. I just said, oh, well, I'm glad you finally recognized that DNA is an actual thing. Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
And yeah, when
Well,
I should not bring that up.
yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
That's what. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. That's what these people do, right? They will literally go out their way to just be not nice people. I mean,
Yeah.
look at
And that's kind of
it.
silly, isn't it?
It is because look at the logic.
I think I was very polite for somebody talking to somebody who believes they got raped by demon spirits. So,
Well, on that note.
But did you see what they were wearing?
That's funny. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Logic. What's up next?
All right, let's do it. So, on humanity. Humanity has been at war with itself for the entire span of human history. These wars are fought over power, resources, survival, pride, glory, etc. When will humanity realize the necessity of conflict with one another? Will humanity... Styzor, hold up.
I'm just saying, slow down. Fuck, don't go quickly.
Well, I'm going to post it in the side so you can see it as well. So, will humanity realize its unfathomable potential if we would only work together?
Yeah, I would love that.
Do you think they will? Let's discuss.
No, it's just no. No.
I think it kind of touches back to that utopia subject you were bringing up. I mean, you can get small groups of people that think alike, but to get too many, I'm sure if somebody did a math number study on it, you can only get so many people.
Let me just be honest. Let's you be honest. We're fucked. It's
Okay, Styzor, come on. Because here's the thing. Like here's the thing.
Be
Here's the thing.
honest.
Well, wait though, because
Alright.
the conflict is the result of people who think or who get upset at other people or and then choose to take action and stuff like that. I think there's types of conflict that we have that could be easily mitigated against with the right set of ideas. For example, I don't get offended by words, so people can use whatever words or diction they want to at me, and I'm just like, okay, well,
Yeah,
okay,
we
go ahead.
know that's very cool. Though, but
So that's the elimination of a type of conflict, and so certainly there is some capacity for that. But
yeah,
I think
but he was talking about. Wasn't he talking about like climate change or some shit?
so I gave some examples of types of wars, which are power,
Climate change.
resources, survival, pride, glory,
Yeah,
stuff
well,
like that.
the biggest one is like climate change. The last time I checked, we had one planet. I just checked. It's like, how many planets?
That's a little
do
off
we-
topic, though.
Yeah, it's not. It's how human beings interact. It's the same thing I just said before. If we don't interact and try and understand each other, we're so fucked. Like big time.
Right. So what we need to do is we need to
Talk to each other.
It's like in Star Trek. There's this episode in Star Trek where Abraham Lincoln comes back from the dead, and and in the episode
funny,
he calls the black girl who works on the deck a negress, which is a word you shouldn't use. But so he apologizes to her, and she says, "No, don't apologize. In the future, in my world or whatever, we've learned not to be afraid of language."
Yeah.
And so, there's things we can do to mitigate against that conflict. And I think the thing is we have the technology for everybody to have food. There's no reason why people shouldn't have food if we just organize ourselves. Everybody would be able to have it. That means resources aren't a conflictual issue anymore. So
no, but how do we do it though? That's the fucking point. It's like, are we willing as a fucking species to just go, okay, if we do this, we're fucking doomed, and everybody knows it. It's not like a fucking shock. Like, do you want to do that?
Right.
That's a pretty shitty idea.
Are you saying feeding the starving people in Africa is going to kill the rest of us?
Yeah, basically.
No.
We're
Do you know how many huge, we're talking 40 million ton tanker ships leave the U.S. every day empty?
Germany throws enough away in food to actually feed the United. I shouldn't say United. I don't know how to say this.
Okay.
Let me say it in a shitty way. Okay, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
I have to say this in a shitty way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Germany, which is Europe's biggest country, kind of thing, that chucks away more fucking food than the United Nations budget on Africa.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to say. We can change the world, but I don't know fucking how to do it. I've got no idea. We have to.
Let me tell you then. Let me help you out. So here's the thing. A lot of nations that the citizens don't have food, this is because of politics and the people that are in control won't let them have food.
So correct.
You can plant a garden and you can grow food and have food. Everybody can do it. If everybody's making stuff, we could easily make enough food for everybody. It's a totally feasible thing. It's not this utopian future concept thing. Literally, the people who are in charge are just not letting people have enough food. There is enough food for everybody. We can all eat and survive. And so that's the truth, for sure. And it's just a matter of people deciding that they want to eat and not let themselves be controlled by power mongers. And this also mitigates against the whole power war stuff, the whole issue with people fighting for power. So.
Yeah, well, by extension, you could say, the idea of people living off the grid, right? It's like there are systems that you can purchase or you can build that would make it possible for you to live off the grid virtually anywhere, right? But the problem is that if you're in a city, you have regulations against that, right?
Right.
And of course you're going to have people who are going to be irresponsible, who are going to have these big sulfuric, like 55-gallon drums of acid or whatever in their backyard, powering stuff, and they're not going to maintain them, right? So you do need regulation, you know, in one aspect, but in the other aspect, we have so much control that you can't go off the grid, right? In certain cities and stuff like that. So the idea is, as long as you're on the grid, that's another level of control that someone has over you, whether that be a corporation or a government or whatever, right? And when we're talking about food, like you're saying, yeah, the food source is controlled. But I would argue that as well as that, this goes back to one of the topics earlier, which we were talking about, well, actually off topic, was this idea of responsibility, right? How much is a person responsible for their own well-being or the well-being of their family in that, right? And it's like, if you're really responsible and you can provide all this stuff where you can live off the grid and all this other stuff, that's a great thing. But we're in a system where we do subsidize people to be irresponsible, right? And that's not just, I'm not just talking about people taking advantage of welfare or Social Security, all that. I'm talking about the guys up at the top too, the 1%, all these people that control all these assets and stuff like that. There's this idea that comes with capitalism, that comes with colonialization, that you can own property and you can own things. You can take, you know, get rights to resources, right? And we're all in that. We live in that. It's not like we're going to get away from that. But I think there has to be more equity or more equality with that, and I think that's part of the equation. But another part of the equation, none of that's going to happen until people are more responsible over their own welfare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I killed that one. Where'd everybody go?
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
No,
Any last,
good point.
any last stuff, guys?
Yeah, I think what's holding a lot of people, well, not a lot of people back, but you said the people in power is it's really up to them, because we, you know, us five right now, we can, you know, hold hands and, you know, hug each other and stuff like that, but we won't, like, we can't change everything else. We don't have the power. But in order for them to do it, I think everyone will have to come to a consensus together, because, you know, you have the selfish people. It's like, damn, if I do all this and they don't, I'm gonna end up losing everything, and they're gonna still be on top. So I'm gonna wait till you do it. You do it with me. You have to do it with me. And then the other guy's like, I don't know. You know, he has a finger across behind his back. You have to do it too. You have to do it too, and no one else does it because no one else does it first.
Right.
I'd like to know how people with an 80-90% disapproval rating keep getting reelected. How the fuck does that even work?
Because it's the only choices we have. You know, like we only get charged for A, B, C, and D, but what if I want to choose J? Like, what if I don't want A, D, B, or C? You know?
Put gerbil in there for all I give a fuck. Haven't pressed two buttons, A or B. I'm sure it probably wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah, well, you have systems in play that are going to use a buddy system and a nepotistic system to get their own in and keep their own in. You know, that incumbents, it's hard to get rid of incumbents in anything.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is that we have this illusion of choice now. Five Guy had a point which I'd like to kind of comment on. This idea of being the first one to do it, to make concessions. One of the things that's always kind of aggravated me about you know, protests and stuff like that, where you see like maybe Occupy Wall Street or something, right? Which I think was, for the most part, I think that was a good thing. But there's people who think that that's a bad thing. One of the things that bothers me about it is that you see a lot of these protesters protesting about how people are starving and all this other stuff, and they're doing it through the latest version of the iPhone, right? And they're doing it using all the networks, right? Social networks, and when these people aren't doing that, a lot of times they're protesting stuff like that stupid bullshit thing with the X-Man poster, right? right. And it's like, while that was going on, okay, that, you know, Muhammad Ali just died. He was an icon for human rights, right? He was a guy that refused to go to Vietnam. He became a Muslim, right? He was, even though he was a fighter, he was known as a advocate for peace. But he's not the big story. It's the X-Man poster with a woman getting choked on the poster, who's a comic book character, and that's the big story, right? So a lot of this stuff comes to you know, like Five Guy. Like, how many of your friends, and I'm not making a judgment on you, I'm just asking outright, how many of your friends or people you know maybe watch TV and watch like Dancing with the Stars, or they watch, you know, like Honey Boo Boo or whatever it is that's on TV? That's like all these shows that just kind of demean human beings, right? People spend a lot of time and money, you know, watching Kardashians and all this other stuff, right? And it's like, I gave up TV for like 3 years, and then I just started watching it again. And I swear I feel dumber in the few days that I've watched TV again, right? Oh, sorry, I got an ice cream man behind me. That's what's coming through.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm doing that for effect. But anyway, they, you know, you have these shows, and people spend all this time on these shows, and it's an opiate. It's a drug. It kind of, you know, tells you to relax, whatever. And you're always seeing these people, like, it's like the Jerry Springer thing. It's like, God, you know, that's terrible. I hate seeing that. I don't like that these people are doing this to each other or whatever, or these people are in this situation or that situation. But I'm sure glad it's not me. I'm so much better because they're so much worse, right? So there's this kind of comparative, you know, lowering our standards, you know, in line with what advertisers might be selling you, or the government might be telling you, or these news sources. Anna Kasparian, Young Turks, they just had an article where they were talking about the European Union, and they said something, what was it? They were talking about euros. They said it was about, oh, they were talking about Brexit, right? And they said it was because of euros, and they failed. They had a panel of, it was like 5 or 6 people. They had a panel. Not one of them knew that there's still a British pound, right? Not one of them knew that. They thought all of England and everything was on the euro, and that was in the title of the thing, right? So this is like this, you know, we see these news sources going right to the bottom, right? It's
that really doesn't shock me. I'm sorry, I just found it hilarious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wish I could pull up the video right now. Somebody pointed that out, and I'm like, oh, I know who it was. It was Griffiths. If any of you see Griffiths, or sometimes she's known as Secular Duchess, she did a video on this, and it's funny because she's swearing in Dutch, and which sounds funny to me. But yeah, this whole panel, nobody corrected each other or whatever, and that they think the euro is like, you know, all through Britain, all through, you know, that's the big deal, is a monetary thing, which is not the issue. That's not what they use. And these people try to push off like they're real journalists. John McIntosh, you know, trying to say, I'm a critic, you know, I'm a games critic. Now you criticize him, you get blocked in a second, right? He doesn't have the credentials. He doesn't have the background in it. He's just a guy that makes videos and does propaganda. He's not a game designer, developer, doesn't play the shit. So he's not a critic because it's not a true critique. That comes from an area of knowledge, right? Experience. So you see that, you know, so what I'm saying is that there's things like, okay, if you think Marvel is misrepresenting people, playing race wars or gender wars with their products, then we should try to boycott all their products, everything. But that's not going to happen. People aren't going to do it. They're going to be like, that'd be good for a day. I've tried to do that. I've tried to boycott DC and Marvel over stuff like that, and I can't get anyone interested. But maybe somebody higher tier could do that,
Mm-hmm. Interesting. On that note, so on inner balance, within each of us is the potential for the greatest good and the greatest evil. How can one achieve balance between these contrasting inner qualities that we all possess? Please share your thoughts, tips, and tricks.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah. So Styzor, do you believe that within all of us, is the potential for good and evil, or for positive or negative actions or thoughts, emotions, stuff like that?
Okay.
Nothing to say. Okay.
Okay. I don't think he's on right now. I'll jump in there. I'm not trying to hog the mic here. Okay. I always like the idea that Carl Jung had of these archetypes, right? And it was weird how he developed this. He developed this working in a mental institution, right? But he had a spiritual attachment, or he saw some kind of spiritual attachment to these archetypes that people had, and the idea is that within us we have these. You have the shadow, which is your version of everything you hate that you think's terrible. So now you see somebody that represents that in real life, and that validates your belief in the shadow, but it makes you want to fight against that, right? But when you're fighting against that, you might be fighting against part of yourself, some kind of darker nature within yourself. There are priests, there are people in yoga and stuff like that that do meditation, where they do shadow meditation, where they try to dive into the depths, try to feel all the pain of reality, all this other stuff, which is kind of like the ascetic religions and that, the idea that we have to suffer to be good, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there always has to be a dynamic and a tension to movement, friction to it, and I believe that also goes with psychological processes, right? And so there was I know we have a lot of Star Trek references and all this other stuff, right? But there was an episode where they had William Shatner, Kirk, was teleported, and he was split into two, so he had like the Jekyll and Hyde kind of version of himself, right? And the bad guy was just ruthless and wanted everything, totally power hungry. But the thing is that the good guy was so cowardly and so afraid of offending anyone and all this other stuff that he was useless, right, without the bad part. So they had to reintegrate him in the end. I think it is always about balance. I think we do have to have a balance. I think it's good to recognize that, if you have evil thoughts or bad thoughts, things that you think are bad thoughts, that you at least know that you're not acting on them, right? You're not carrying them out. That
Hopefully.
Right. Well, I mean, there are people who, I remember Jimmy Carter, when he was president, saying something about he was unfaithful to his wife because he had unfaithful thoughts. Well, that was his belief system, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's messed up.
Well, imagine the amount of control you would have to actually thought control your own thoughts. And I don't think that's healthy at that point.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Especially if you think having a thought is some kind of actual wrong deed.
Right, exactly.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to control what pops into your head. I mean, shit comes into people's head all day long. You don't get to, you get to do with it what you want, but you can't stop it from entering your head. You might see a horrible meme that's in the worst taste, and if your first reaction is like a giggle and you feel bad because you giggled at something that is horrible, then you know what? You didn't pick. But go ahead.
Well, so the neurons that fire together wire together. So you create habits through the patterns of thought that you had. So, I mean, if you're thinking about puppies a lot, then you're going to be thinking about puppies more. So, I mean, like, thoughts aren't bad in themselves, but you can sort of train yourself to circulate different types of thoughts. So if I really want to motivate myself to do something like running or something, I can modify my thinking patterns to be thinking more about motivating myself to do this thing or something.
Yeah,
but,
you can trick your brain.
Yeah, but I think the discussion is about how you shouldn't like think you're a terrible person because you have a negative thought or a thought that's not deemed as a typically good thought or something.
That's a deep tunnel. It's hard, once you start beating yourself up, it's hard not to stop, especially if that's the way your brain is set. But there's ways out of it. Yeah, exactly. Once you're used to it, you're used to it. It's like the old Offspring song. It's okay, man. I like the abuse.
Yeah. Well, Douglas Hofstadter is a cognitive scientist of sorts, right? And I don't know exactly what his title is, but anyway, he said that most thoughts that people have are metaphor, right? Like everything. In fact, I think he said everything that people think is in a metaphor, and he says those metaphors are largely irrational, right? They don't make a lot of sense. So the idea is that, going back to what Logic was saying, you can kind of program the way you do things by programming your mind, by putting yourself in situations where, like he was saying with the puppies, right? Like if it makes you feel better to help puppies, or work for the veterinarian society or whatever, or have a puppy or whatever, that's going to make you more positive, right? I knew this girl that was bipolar, and she used to, she'd be really happy when she was out sometimes. Well, she'd go home, and she'd turn on this music, and it was like this really dark Trent Reznor stuff, right? Nine Inch Nails, or it was like these really slow, maudlin love songs that were like tragedies and stuff, and that's all she would listen to at her house, right?
Yeah.
And so she would instantly, she'd have the lights down low, she'd have candles up, and she'd have these songs going, and it's like a total goth scene in her house, but she steps outside of it, and she's happy and normal, and then she goes inside, and she instantly is like suicidal because of this, right? And I told her one time, and she got really pissed about it, right? I said, okay, you told me you have this problem and that problem, and you have the medication, and you got to watch that with the drinking and all that. But wouldn't it just help if you like lifted a shade up once in a while, or blew out the candles and listened to some Slayer or something, some heavy metal or just anything besides this droning, whatever. And I'm not knocking the songs. I mean, they're good songs for what they are, but they're the type of thing if you think about it, if all you're doing is sitting there and thinking about it, then you're reflecting on everything bad in your life and all that, you're going to feel bad,
Yeah, absolutely.
Q, I have to tell you, that reminds me of a friend of mine I met online who happens to be as far as you can go in psychology without going to medical school.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
She's not criminal, but a forensic psychiatrist at a prison.
Oh, cool.
But as a good friend of mine. Anyway, anybody in that field, that they just can't talk to a friend without picking their brain like that.
Right.
Talking to them is one thing, but I've talked to her for a long time and a while, and it's hilarious. Every time we hear something about, I've heard all about the cognitive distortions and things like that, but you always find something new. It doesn't matter how much you've heard about.
Right. Well, it's funny because there's a girl I know casually through the internet that's a reporter, and there was a time when we were not really dating. It was like the online dating kind of thing. We were trying to set things up, and what was funny is when I would talk to her, the first time I talked to her, it was this really long phone call, right? And the thing was is that it was one of the easiest awkward phone calls because she instantly turns it into an interview, because that's your programming, right? So it's like,
Right.
how long have you been doing this, and what led you to that? And I was like, damn, this is easy. I don't even have to like make up stuff, I'm just.
Hold on, let me get my resume.
Right, exactly. It was almost clinical, it's like I'm being interviewed for just being me, that kind of thing. And so it was kind of like she would go into that reporter mode in her personal life too,
Right.
which was funny, because you don't notice it at first, and then when it happens, you're like, well, this is kind of cool, different.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, it's
yeah,
just like this, guys. Like, I'll sit here and I'll have conversations like this with you guys, but in real life, when people get close to me, I tend to sort of bring out, conversations like this, and I'm usually really careful with it because a lot of people aren't very receptive to this type of discussion. But yeah, I feel like to get to know somebody, to really get to know somebody, I feel like the topics have to be pretty deep, and that's what I enjoy. So.
there was a couple times that I told her I was like, depressed and stuff, and her expert, 7 years of schooling, psych stuff, told me, stop being a fucking emo.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you probably analyze her after a while, right? Like because you pick up on.
Because I picked up. Yeah, exactly. I learned a little bit about it. Enough for more than average layman knows. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was kind of funny hearing that. Stop being such a fucking emo.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So she loosened up a little around you. That's cool. Yeah. So what's
right? So I think.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. So I think our conclusion was basically like just try to work on your habit and to try to balance yourself. Try to think in the way that you think is good, or act in the way you think is good, and balance yourself out.
Don't be such a douche.
That's right.
Yeah, well, another good trick is as early as possible, I would say, is develop good morals and try to stay consistent. And unfortunately, there are some arrows pointing to those morals. Like you would have to obviously be within the law, because if you kill someone, guess what? You're going to jail. So that's one of the things on the list. And I would say, I hate to say it, but you would have to follow the law. And not all laws are good, but I think a lot of them are there to protect the greater good, because they have this concept of good and evil, and people can toss that around. But if everyone was to try to kill everyone else, eventually it'll get down to like 2 people, and that's not sustainable for human race anyway. So we know that killing people is bad right off the gun without trying to define good and evil right there.
That's a good phrase though. Consistency.
Yeah,
People should practice. There's nothing more that I hate than two-faced people.
Yeah, you got to try to stay consistent as at least as much as possible. We are humans. We do make mistakes. Our ideas do change, but you got to try.
Exactly.
You don't want to be the worst person. You can't be the best person, but you try not to be the worst person.
If you've ever been out in a big group of people that really don't know each other too well, you'll notice a lot of people tend to change their shift on subjects depending who they're talking to.
Yeah, chameleons.
Yeah, there's majority of people. It's sad.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you guys ready?
Okay. Oh yeah. What's the this is the next one 4?
Yeah, I think we destroyed that topic. So on self-development, ultimately there is a person we all want to be, a place we want to go, or something we wish to do or create. To achieve this, we must develop ourselves through different types of training. It is my opinion that such behavior is the most significant part of existence as a human being. How can we best achieve the focus that is necessary for this development? What do you personally do? What are our essential behaviors for development?
Well, like they were saying, consistency, right? You have to have a framework. You have to have a moral framework. everything has limitations, but you want to constantly expand on what your goals are, or what your limitations may be. You might want to lift some of the limitations a little bit.
Right. One point where moving the goalposts is a good thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so we always have to, we're going to model ourselves in some ways off of, role models, or people that we see that are doing good things. Hopefully, that are doing good things, and at the same time, as people get older, you start to see the weaknesses, right? You see where people have these weaknesses and stuff, and their strengths, and you want to try to get the strengths without the weaknesses, but you have to realize that you're not perfect. You're not infallible. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to have failures in life.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Good stuff. And so you have to be okay with the failures and really try to learn from what's happening. And instead of thinking, "Oh, I failed," instead you gotta understand that this is all part of the development. The battle has just begun, and you just keep going. And it's not a thing of, "Oh, I lost." It's that there's more to it than you thought, because you prepared for this battle or for this thing you were doing, and there was a bit more to it, so you lost. You didn't have it all together, and so you go at it again, and then things change. And so yeah, just learning the rules of what you're doing. Learning the ideas behind it, what you need to think, what you need to know, whatever is involved with it, being astute about it and trying to learn all the facets of what you're involving yourself in.
Yeah, I really hate when somebody tries to sit there and explain something to you when they have no clue what the fuck they're talking about. That is another, it's, I guess, on the lines of being two-faced. But yeah, that shit's, I mean, I'm sure you've all dealt with it at some salesman at some store.
right, or maybe somebody showing you like a sport or something, right? And they're saying all you have to do is this, and for them it might be easy, right? For you, not so much, or you might have some, it just might not be the thing you're into, right? So it's good to be adaptable, and when people do try to push you into a certain thing, maybe try to accommodate them in some ways, but remember that there's other avenues you can take to, if that relies on skill or talent or anything like that. You might be a good at sports but bad at music, or good at music but bad at sports, whatever. You always have to have secondary goals, I guess, would be the other thing. So
Definitely, you need multiple goals. I like to keep it around 3. I think 3 is the right number. 2 just seems like not quite enough, and I think 3 is just the point where it's almost too much. And you prioritize them, so you have your number 1 goal, and then you have like a goal that's important to you, but
So
you're not
what are
putting
your
quite as
3?
much into it. So my number 1 is my Japanese linguistic stuff and trying to become a professor. My number 2 is with my music and writing, and then, I don't know, I guess those are separate. So just music, and then number 3 is what is my 3? What is my
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I guess it's the writing. I guess it's my writing. Then I guess it's the books that I'm writing and trying to market those, and then market the music, market the book, and then the linguistic stuff. So yeah.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I just have it.
I don't have 3.
Okay. Yes, I win. No. But I think 3 is a good number. Yeah. Let's see,
5 guy.
No, I think kind of a lot of these subjects right here for today kind of ties into each other, and in a pretty funny way. Like I said, for that first one, it's important to learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to do it on yourself. develop good morals, which would in turn be good habits, and like that 3 rule thing. You're sitting down, you have nothing to do. You say you have nothing to do. You look at that list and you're like, I could be doing this. If I don't want to do that, okay, fine. I have number 2. If I don't want to do that, I have number 3. And if you don't feel like doing number 3, then something you have to chill out. You have to go to sleep, or you have to eat some food or something to get your brain working. And try to stay consistent. Things like that. Those are very good behaviors and attitudes to have to be the best person, the best version of yourself.
Exactly. There's always something to do.
Yeah, and I think momentum is important too. I feel like I get more done if I wake up and I have a set list of things I do. So I wake up, I go out to my garden, I water all my plants, and then I go for a bike ride, and then I have these things I'm doing, hyping myself up, building my momentum of actions and things that I'm doing, beneficial things, and then I just move on to the next thing and I keep going. But I think the moment you stop doing things, I think it messes it up. You got to keep your momentum going if you want to continue to be motivated and maintain your focus.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So
ground running.
Yeah, and I think some days you got to just chill. So some days just instead of being like that and just going and going and going, just kind of chill out. So I think it's important to take like a couple of days off a week and just be chill.
Yeah, one of the things that always amazes me, which is like, I'd like to be more this way, right? Is you look at stars like Christopher Walken, right? And Christopher Walken was a dancer, right? He could dance, he could sing, he could play music, he could do all of that. Right. And right. And he still is. But what's funny is that depending on what the demand is, it's like when I started playing music way back. It's like no matter what instrument I played, there was always too many of them, right? So they always needed some. If I was a drummer, they needed a bassist. If I was a bassist, they needed a singer or whatever. So I kind of adapted to fill those positions, right? And like with Christopher Walken, the idea is that he has this palette of talents that he can refer to, and whatever they need, so if somebody needs him to do comedy, he's a really good comedian, right? For at least for comic acting, right?
So kind of a jack of all trades.
Right. I think you have to have that. I know there's certain people who can hyper focus on one thing, and they could do that. But for every one person that has that, there's got to be thousands that go with that, and some life-altering event happens to them, which makes that null and void, right? An accident could happen to you. Something could happen that could, in some way, damage you, where you can't follow that first goal you had, right? So the jack of all trades thing, I think that's good to go with. I think we need to have a lot of that people need to have that, right?
I think everyone here knows that Christopher Walken is gold.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
We all need more cowbell.
Right, yep, exactly.
It's funny because he did so many films and stuff like that, and one of his most memorable things is that little Saturday Night Live skit. It's kind of funny.
I like to troll like people that do like classical things on YouTube and that, right? And I'll put the it needs more cowbell, like you guys did great. What I mean? Like the strings were beautiful. I love the way it was so expressive, and you really understood the piece. But I think it needed more cowbell. Like and a lot of times they don't even get it. It's just kind of like, who is this ass?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
There was no cowbell back then.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, I think that's the end. So that's the end of the topics.
Oh.
Yeah.
So can we talk about the guy that was getting raped by demons, or?
Yes, now would be the time for that.
Hey, is Styzor still with us, or what? Styzor, are you there?
I don't know.
I think he,
I think he passed
might have-
out or something.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
he decided he's too good for us. And,
You're gonna bring back his ghost.
I know he's gonna come. He's gonna hear me from the other room.
Fuck you, you motherfucker.
How dare Logic say anything bad about me?
I don't know why Logic was being so mean to him.
Logic invaded my
I know.
safe space.
The truth is, I'm an incredibly mean and rude person, and I'm sorry, guys. I have to apologize for that.
Your Americanness was showing.
I know.
It's
My burden.
if he was the only other person I've ever seen that might be a little more compassionate than this guy is Canadian. Are you seriously? Are you not from Canada?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm from California.
Wow. Because
Do I sound Canadian?
no, but you're just so nice, and I will never.
Well, I will admit
Everybody-
that. Yeah.
Everyone I've ever met from California has been a little off, but you might be a little off on some things, but nothing I've seen yet. So we'll leave it at that.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say that I don't get along with a lot of people, and it's
Ah.
not my fault. I'm not picking fights with people or being mean.
It's just that he's a bully.
Because they're
Yeah,
assholes.
people. I'm a bully. That's right. I'm a bully. People decide that
He
I'm a
thinks
problem.
about kicking puppies, and that makes it better.
What
Yeah.
was the redheaded
That must be
kid's name from the Christmas Story?
What?
What was the redheaded kid's name from the Christmas Story?
Oh,
I don't know.
I can't think of it.
Talk about
did
like
they
Tiny
use-
Tim.
What was it?
No, not that Christmas Story. The one with the Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol. They played 24/7 on TBS.
The one where the kid puts his tongue on the metal
Yeah,
post
yeah,
or something?
yeah.
You're talking about Home
A
Alone.
Christmas Story. No, it's called A Christmas Story.
Or just,
But no, there's a redhead who's the bully.
Yeah, that.
Anywho.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah.
How you
that-
have not seen that, Logic?
Nope. Oh, I know
Oh.
I've seen it, but I just don't. I just wouldn't waste my cognitive space on something like that.
Oh, see, I don't get a
I
choice
have to
with
know
that.
all these characters' names.
I don't get a choice with that shit. That's the kind of crap that sticks in my head and boots out useful information.
Oh,
See, that's the difference.
jeez,
Yeah, it sucks to be me.
that's rough, man.
It's okay.
Internet Pat.
I can come and ruin your hangout with my bullshit trivia.
No, it would be cool if they made a restaurant. Welcome to the Christmas Story restaurant.
Actually, it's a house in Wisconsin where they filmed it. It's a museum now. Kind
Oh,
of.
cool.
Awesome.
Do they have the lamp fragile? Like, yeah.
There's a you remember you have to remember the lamp.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's too bad that Styzor's not like physically in a room with us, because we could like paint things on him now and then.
Oh yeah, that would be wonderful.
Like draw things on him. And
Yeah, I want to draw all over his face.
we did that one time. We did that at a party. There's this guy that was kind of a party pooper kind of guy, right? And he came over, and the only reason he was over is he's interested in one of the guy's sisters, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he was one of these guys. He just hated all of us. He didn't really want to be around us, but we got him to loosen up at this one party. So we're all drinking and all that. Well, anyway, turn around, and it's like a few hours into it, and the guy's sleeping on this couch in the basement, right? So we found some twine, and we tied him to the couch. We tied him to the couch, and we got all these newspapers and crumpled them up and put them all around him and stuff in there. And we got everybody with their lighters, and then we're like, fire, fire! And the guy woke up, and he was totally freaked. He was just screaming, right? And he's trying to like get loose from this couch. But we didn't actually light it. You know, the good thing is we didn't actually light him on fire. Nobody's hurt. But I think it kind of snapped his mind, because after that he was like the coolest partier, right? He was like the way cooler than the rest of us, right? So it really made him loosen up around people, and he ended up marrying that girl, getting with that girl.
It was helpful. That's a
It was
ticket.
helpful. Yep.
Right, sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
We didn't scar him for life. We helped him.
Right. Behavioral modification. Yeah.
Good work.
It was my idea to tie him up and get the papers.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even smoke, so I had to get the guys with the lighters to do that.
So yeah, Sky was yeah, that's the first time I've talked to him, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Styzor's a good guy. I like him.
He's very passionate, a passionate man. He's very passionate about
And he's
something.
handsome too. Look at this guy. I'm gonna try to make sure everybody sees Styzor. Look at this handsome man. That's a cool beard. And that cigarette. Oh, and it's just so edgy. And he's got that lazy gray hoodie.
We could meme the hell out of him right now.
Yeah. I think we need to put a mustache over the mustache.
No. Yeah.
Put your little Superman glasses on him too.
That's right.
Can you do that?
I don't think so.
He could.
Well, do we have that technology?
He could give him his eyes. Then
Oh,
it'd just be gay bait.
I think we should put little devil horns on him.
Did you see that thing from the Dixie Chicks?
No. What was
They
that?
went on tour, and their background is a big picture of Trump with devil horns and a mustache.
Oh my gosh.
They just opened up a tour, and their first thing was background of a huge picture of Trump with devil horns and a mustache.
Well, you know,
Fantastic.
when Trump was, when people were telling me, because I got relatives and stuff telling me, oh, Trump, you know, he's great, he's going to do this, do that. And I was a real hard sell on that, because I was really kind of hoping Bernie would have had it. But the thing is I see the way this is playing out and how bad it is, and they're just making Trump look better and better and better. Where I think if they just stopped trying to fight him, he would probably lose steam on its own. But now I'm starting to think, well, he might be. I think
he's going to be the president for sure. Actually,
I don't think there's anything else that could happen to Trump that would get him denied. He's had Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, and the leader of the KKK endorse him, and people don't have an issue with any of that.
Well, it's weird because I know what you're saying. Okay, that by itself. Okay, the way that you say it right there.
I took it out of context, right?
Well, no. Well, no. What I'm saying is that if that were the only facts I had to work with, that would make me question where Trump's allegiance is, right? But the thing is that unlike the way that you had just said it, usually when I do hear anything about Trump, it's under these layers of all these accusations, and they're saying how bad he is. And whenever somebody's telling you, like, this is bad, right, or that's a bad thing, or you should hate that, right there, they're not giving you facts. They're emotionalizing it, right? Okay. And what I need is the facts so that I can have my own emotional reaction to it, right, rather than somebody else's, right?
Right, and by them telling us that he's so bad, it makes him look like he's not bad.
Yeah, and saying all Mexicans are rapists, not racist.
Well, see, the thing about that is that okay, you know that all politicians. Now this is an apologetic stance, I guess. All politicians. All politicians.
You should know better than that. You should use it.
Well, all people that are running in office or in office, whatever, are going to say things that are just stupid, right? And that on its face is a stupid thing to say. But now he's saying Mexicans. Now, when he says Mexicans, I would want to know the clarification from him. And you probably already know this, but I don't. Is he talking about Mexican citizens, which I still don't agree with his point. I would still say that's a stupid thing to say.
Well, according to Trump, he wants anybody, say there was 2 illegal immigrants here that had a child who is a natural-born U.S. citizen because they were born here, He wants them deported along with their parents.
Oh, okay. Now I think this is the is this what they used to call the anchor baby issue or something like that? I don't agree with that. I see. I think the main focus should be like if we're talking about this wall situation, right? I think the first thing you have to do is it's like if you're in a boat. If you're in a boat and the boat's flooding, right? If there's a hole in the boat, you don't start bailing out the boat until you fix that hole, right? Because then you're just working against yourself, and there's no solution to it. You're not
fix the hole.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, before anybody gets deported, we have to stop more people from coming in. Now, is that possible? I don't know. I think it's something that should be discussed. There should be some kind of solution. And if it's something where Mexico is somehow responsible for it, that nation, then I think they should have a part in helping us fix that.
All I have to say is the whole way he's going about it is completely fucked. And like I said earlier about how many millions of dollars of crops would rot on the stalk if we didn't have illegal immigrants working in farms here.
Well, see, you may have a point, and I don't wish to contest that point. The thing is that we're talking with a hypothetical that has not been tried, right? We don't know that Americans won't do it, right? I mean, there are places in, you got the Appalachians, all this other places where people are dirt poor. There's a lot of unemployment. Now, the thing is if we're not paying people what they are worth, or if we're not paying them enough to live or whatever, okay, that's one issue. But this thing with these illegal aliens, they seem to be surviving on the pay that they're getting for illegally harvesting these crops, right? So now, could American citizens, because I'm going with the assumption that these illegal migrants aren't going back to Mexico every single day, right? Or am I wrong?
No, they send their paychecks back to Mexico. But my point is, hear me out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The people here won't work for that. They're not being paid minimum wage, obviously. They're being paid maybe $5 an hour cash under the table, if that. Probably not even that.
Will those companies still be alive if we force them to pay minimum wage to American citizens? That's a question.
I'm sure they would be. I mean, the price of shit might go up, but
I mean, there's like a way.
It would not kill the company.
No, people need jobs, so.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's enough Americans that would take those jobs. Those are fucking hard jobs, and they're shit jobs.
Well, yeah, but see, what I was trying to make the point earlier is I've had plenty of shit jobs that didn't pay a lot when I was, 18, 19, around there. Now, today, I see a lot of people that, people I train and that on jobs, and they don't know how to do a lot of things. They're not really educated to do a lot of things, even for reading a tape measure, stuff as simple as that, right? Yeah. So my only point being is that is this a factor? Is it that we're being too soft on some of the younger kids? I mean, should we make them do some of these jobs, or make them do those jobs and pay them more than you would for the illegal aliens, right?
Well, QN, I think this boils down to something that started when I was a kid, which is the pussification of America. You might have heard it from George Carlin, but
oh yeah.
Like the whole everybody in Little League gets a fucking trophy. Doesn't matter if you're in dead last place, you still get a trophy. It's like no, okay, I understand the point of it. You want to make the kids feel like they accomplished something, but you accomplish a lot more, and I probably sound like an asshole for saying shit like this, but
no.
It's fucking up psychology. It's you can win for not doing anything, kind of a thing.
Well, yeah, everything's a competition. You have to have, well,
It
everything.
should be. I mean, it drives motive.
Right. You have to have motive. Now, the thing is like, I remember when, there weren't many jobs around here, so I moved to Florida for a while. I'm in Detroit area right now, but I moved to Florida to get work. The jobs there were you're talking $6 an hour, $7 an hour back then, and no benefits, no health insurance, anything like that. And I did it, and I had to do it, and it was grueling work, and I did overtime, and I still was able to afford a place. I was still able to, party with my friends at least once a week. This is, I'm not saying that it's right for people to suffer or to have to go through maybe as much as what I did. And I'm not saying that I went through more than other people. I'm saying there's other people that went through a lot worse. But if I could do it and other people could do it back then, are we being too soft on people now? We have people that work flipping burgers, right? And there's nothing. I'm not saying it's not hard work. I'm not saying it's that they don't hustle to get that stuff done. But you have people doing that, and they have like an entry level position, and they think they should have a $30,000, $40,000 house, and have 5 kids and afford it.
No, but it's the things are. They shouldn't. No, they shouldn't expect that. And anybody who does is retarded. But you can't go out and get even on, say average high school guy who never went to college.
Mm-hmm.
You go out and get a job, make $20,000 a year. You can't support a family on that.
Right.
Your wife goes out. What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I mean.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, you can't do that. Mm-hmm.
No, especially I live just outside of Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's cheaper if you live down in southern. I mean, taxes here are $45,000 a year, or not $45,000, $4,500 a year. But out south, when I lived in South Carolina, we got a tax bill, and I thought it was a mistake. It was like $260.
Right.
I couldn't believe the difference. But anyway, the jobs paid different, and it wasn't. I think it was better off living in the South, just because the rate, as far as the pay, it was less, but the cost of living was so much less than living up where I'm at now.
Right, and
$12 an hour down there was the same as like $18 an hour up here.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so there is some societal problem to that can be probably worked on. But I'm just thinking this thing with the illegal aliens, as opposed to having Americans doing that. I think at least one factor in that is this idea that everyone thinks that they can just get out of school, high school, whatever, and get a job at Burger King or whatever and afford a brand new house, a brand new car, and have kids and get married and all that other stuff, and it just can't be done. And so we see people pushing for this minimum wage of $15 an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that will break some companies. I imagine it certainly would, with competition being as tight as it is in some of the manufacturing companies. Maybe not. Because we're not talking about Fords and Chrysler and stuff like that, right? We're talking about McDonald's and stuff, right? That you're going to start at 15 an hour or whatever. So another part of that too is you have the people that have put time in on jobs, right? And maybe they're only making $20 an hour, right? And so then now, because the minimum wage goes up or whatever, the guy starting under them that has no time at all is going to start at 15. The guy that makes the 20, he doesn't get a boost. You know what I'm saying? So it's not equal. It's not comparable in that sense. And this thing with the illegal aliens, if we have enough people in here now to take care of the crops, to do the stuff, then I think the big issue isn't sending them over as much as it is fixing that hole. If it means building a wall. I heard somebody argue, they said, well, we'd have to put a guard every 50 feet. Okay, more jobs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, they keep saying, you know, we don't have enough jobs and we don't have this. Okay, there you go. Now, is it going to raise our taxes overall? Yeah, but if we're getting more money into the system, then theoretically, at least on paper, right, we'll end with a net gain.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I mean, you gotta have rules. There has to be rules. You can't just break them for particular people. It's like you could be a Japanese person that has a degree in rocket science and want to come to America, work in America. You got a degree in rocket science, and you can't come to America.
Right.
But a bunch of Mexicans can come over, which is fine. But I just
right.
It's not fair. You got to have rules, and you got to stick to the rules. This is part of the structure of society. You know?
I have to go back to when, you know, we all invaded this place. Not we all, because we weren't here, but
well, yeah, but it's not
the
past. This is where we are now. America's an established country with its own rules now. It's not. This isn't an immigrant country anymore. Now it's the people. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, you kind of understand what I'm saying about how it's a little bit hypocritical to say, no, you can't come here now, even though we just raped and pillaged this whole place for, you know.
That was then, though.
There needs to be regulations, but it's...
I think that we should have the same rules as all the other countries that don't just allow us to go there, you know, to have that across the board, same rules for everybody thing, equality.
Are you in favor of, like, kind of, who the hell is that? New World Order kind of thing? Because
I'm an individualist.
Some of the stuff I mean, I understand. Yeah, everybody should get along. That'd be great, but
I don't mean it like that. I mean people taking responsibility for themselves.
I know, but like even on a country level, it would be nice if people could get along. But I just, you know, it hasn't happened for shit. How long? I can't see it really. Just, it'd be nice. Don't get me wrong, but
I think,
as crazy as it sounds, like Reagan said, if something came from outer space to attack us, I think everybody would just stop fighting and arguing and kind of meld together.
Yeah, we need.
You remember that? That was probably 20 years ago.
Well, see,
it's sad that's what it would take too.
Well, yeah. That's a premise that's been explored a lot in like sci-fi and stuff, right? And yeah, that's true. But then another thing is it's kind of like the idea like okay, we have certain things where we understand somebody does a crime because of economic reasons or something, right? It's like they really can't afford food or they can't afford whatever, so they steal it, right? Or they steal something. Or they have perhaps a drug habit and they can't support that, so they steal something from somebody. Okay, but there's a breakdown in society when it happens, right? And it demands a societal response. Now, if we allow some things, some breakdowns, like this illegal immigration, or not even immigration, illegal invasions, right? If we allow that, and then we have people here, look at, say, let's say like black communities, right? Okay, so you have, maybe there's black guys that can't get these jobs, that, or maybe it's poor white kids or Asians or whoever that can't get these jobs because illegal aliens are doing them, right? I find it hard to believe that there's nobody in the United States that would do these jobs, that there's nobody doing that bad off when we hear about how bad some people have it. You know, but it's a breakdown in the system, and it's been allowed, and we're allowing corporatists and that to exploit this.
Yeah, and that's another issue. Like,
Right. It's just the funneling of money. We're taking our money from the taxpayers and giving it to Mexico and giving it to these corporatists, and where we should be saying, no, enough's enough. We want these laws enforced.
You're not going to get any argument from me. We're giving money away way too freely, like it's just fucking candy to babies.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have an issue with giving aid to other countries, but when you're giving people like $2 billion a year, really?
Right. And I don't think we necessarily, and I could be wrong, right? I don't think we necessarily have to put a big beat down on everyone who's already in this country illegally, right? I think sealing that leak, that hole, whatever, is the first step, right? And beyond that, maybe we won't have a problem. Maybe we can naturalize everyone, right?
I just don't. I don't think building a wall between the U.S. and Mexico would help. I think it'd actually make things worse.
Yeah, I'm more in favor of the every 50 feet thing, but also I think we need to hold the Mexican government. I do think that we have to hold the Mexican government responsible for not taking care of their people, so that they feel like they need to come here. I think that's the issue, not necessarily that we need to do anything on our end.
Anybody who's seen anything from the Mexican news knows how the cartels work down there.
Yeah, well, and I think that we gotta kind of put the whip down and be like, hey, you guys, you gotta make workable conditions for your people, or at least pay them what we're paying,
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that? Think about this for a minute, right? It's like if we have a problem with somebody in, say, Iraq or whatever, we have them killed.
Yeah,
and we install somebody, right? But we don't do that with Mexico.
I'm not saying that's right either.
Not that we should do that in Mexico, but anyway.
Well, what I'm saying is that maybe we should. I'm saying that the thing is that obviously their government's corrupt. Okay, the cartels are running. Now that might be, from our own government perpetuating it. Right, But what I'm saying is, why, when it comes to something like that, to something on our border, do we just let it ride and let people do whatever? That's like when you see this stuff in
Seriously? You don't understand why they let them do that?
Well, what I mean is,
here's the reason: because they get more money. Everybody who comes in here illegally, they get paid. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's like
what I'm saying is, why don't we put the military there and just kill everyone that tries to get over the border? That's what I'm saying. This
took a dumb turn.
That's hard. That's hardcore. That, oh my gosh, you can't
see the law. Okay, I just listened to V talking about Romania, right? And in Romania, this is kind of funny. They actually had somebody an illegal alien try to cross their wall that they have. They have some kind of wall or fence or whatever it is to keep people out of Romania, right? And he says the guy made it halfway over there and they shot him. They put a bullet in him. And he said that we don't have too many people that come into our country. And he says, why would they want to come into Romania anyway? They're dirt poor, right? But there are places that are worse than Romania. What I'm saying is we've allowed this, we've normalized it to where everything's a special interest issue. These are not people coming over. These are invaders. That's the way you have to look at it. And if you can't look at it that way, that it's an invasion from another country, then you're not going to solve the problem ever. Right? It's, there has to be respect for the boundaries and the borders. Or if we're not going to respect that, then we have to have a law that covers everyone, something ubiquitous, right? We can't allow some people to do it and some people not to do it. Some people to break the law and some people not to break the law, because there's a lot of people that came over legally from Mexico who are pissed about all the illegals coming in and stealing from them, right? And as long as you have that, you have the drug cartels do what they want, whatever. And if there's a military response, an actual military response, that could end really quick.
Yeah, it's true.
And we do it everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? We do it in, you know, maybe because it's on the border, maybe that's an issue, you know, but.
Well, you know, they get
Too
Mexicans
close
to
to home.
build the wall, and then they laugh because they can't figure out why they figured out how to get around it or under it or whatever.
Well, I think the wall itself is you know, while Trump might be talking about an actual wall, and McCain had that for a while, the actual wall or whatever, you know, just the idea that we're going to enforce laws, you know.
It reminds me of the wall between, you know, East and West Berlin kind of shit. It's just shouldn't be.
We'll see what you're talking about there is you have families that are I know Ossetia was an issue, right? Like Ossetia in Georgia, because you had families, you had people that were going back and forth over that border, right? And for a long time that was allowed, that was all right. And then when they were when NATO was in there, and you had all the bullshit with Karl Rove and McCain and that, okay, they helped to create tension between those areas, and so families were torn apart in this process, right? And now, okay, you could say on the border we have maybe families that are torn apart in this process, but what I'm saying is you take the people who are already here, the people who are in here, and you naturalize them, right? Just seal the leak, not go on a big thing, because we always hear these promises about we're going to deport so many people, and it's not going to happen. They're not going to find all these people. They're not going to deport them. So if you can deport...
The sound of... just the way you said naturalize them sounds like eugenics a bit.
Well, I'm speaking of it in the sense of culture, right? Melting pot or not, you know, this is America. This is the U.S.
Hey, I understand. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not one to stick up for, oh, it's okay to stone someone to death or throw somebody off a building because they're gay, or
right
rape. You know, rape is
right, like,
because
mm-hmm.
No, if somebody tries to sit there and say that's just their culture, no, fuck you. Your culture's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And if that makes me a racist or a bigot, then so be it.
Right. We'll see what that's what I'm saying. You're going to be called that. If you offer any real solution, you're going to be called a racist, a bigot, eugenics, all this other stuff, right? It is going to be thrown at you. Okay. But the point is that we have a physical system and a conceptual system that is a boundary that we live in. Right?
It's like the World of Warcraft thing where they had to come down on these people who had their own little server, because if they didn't, then there would be problems with their ownership over the franchise, the legally and all of that. And it's kind of like the same thing. We maintain the rules, we play by the rules, or there are no rules.
Oh, there was a server that wasn't complete total horrible.
Was I along the right lines, TJ?
Well, yeah. If you okay, let's take the race issue out of this and talk about just the nationalism or the country, the people who are taxpayers, right?
Yeah.
We do have on these borders, we have tax-paying Mexican immigrants, legal immigrants, right? They are being screwed over by these non-tax-paying illegal aliens, right? They're having these drug cartels dump bodies in their yards and stuff like that, right?
I'm surprised that they haven't gotten heads planted in their yards. I think he might have froze.
Oh, I'm back.
No, not you. Or Q might have froze.
It was TJ. I'm about to end, though. I think I'm going to end pretty soon here. But we can continue on the discussion.
Is that me or you?
Oh, it was you.
Yeah, you froze a little bit.
Oh, okay. I lost my network for a minute. Yeah, okay. What I'm saying is that you have people who are in here legally who are the same race, right, from the same country, you know, Mexican. and they're also paying the price for this, right? And it's been normalized to where, you know, with the drug cartels, everything else, we've got bodies in the yards and stuff like that. We've got these Minutemen groups looking and all that. And it's not just about race, or that's not even really the issue. It's this thing with illegal aliens, and they don't just work here. You know, some of them commit crimes here, some of them steal. I'm sure there's probably a lot of them that don't, right? But that's why I'm saying the main issue isn't just getting everyone out of the country. The main issue is sealing that leak somehow, right?
Or the cause of the leak.
Right, right.
You know, like in that there's this. So we got a hole. So why is this isn't like a hole that's permanent? There's this hole is something that's complex. It's these people are have a need. They want to survive, so they're willing to, you know, come across the borders and leave their life behind and do all this wild stuff. I mean, none of us could say that we'd be willing to do that at this point. So, I mean, obviously there's an issue in their culture, in their country, in their politics, and their power holders, and the fact that there's no jobs there. I mean, these people, they could grow their own food and create their own little community or something like this, but they're not even allowed to do that for some reason. So, I mean, that's the thing. When you break it all down, there is a problem with their country that needs to be fixed, and if they won't fix it, I say America needs to do it by force, because their problems are becoming ours because they're right next to us. So,
Logic, I just want to ask, if I can, what's that diploma over your other shoulder?
That's my Berkeley diploma. High honors.
All right.
Cool. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Hopefully I get another one for my master's.
I went out and started going to work right out of high school, so I never got to hit up that party scene.
Yeah, I got lucky. I mean, these days, you go to community college, you do well at community college, you can get into a really good school. So
they're starting to hurt.
I did terrible in high school, but anyway.
They're starting to hurt because they're expungently charging more and more.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, I think I'm going to end the hangout. Any last stuff you guys want to?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it went pretty good, except for when you were being so mean to Styzor at the beginning. But
I know.
Such a rude, horrible person. I mean, I thought I was an asshole.
What do you guys think it is about me that just people get upset at me? I don't know.
It's because of your girlish good looks.
I must be. I'm a pretty handsome guy.
And he uses deodorant.
Right. And I use deodorant, and that must be.
Oh, you smell good too? Shit.
Yeah, I use perfume.
You sure do got some pretty lips for a boy.
What?
You sure do got some pretty lips for a boy.
He says, "Say what?"
You've never seen the movie Deliverance?
Yeah. No, I know what the reference was. You know the reference, right?
He doesn't probably.
Oh, he doesn't? Oh, so he's just going to...
He just thinks I'm a rapist.
I'm sure it's funny somehow.
Yeah.
Look up Deliverance, the line I said. You'll probably just think I'm more of a rapist.
Well, I'm getting what I deserve because Styzor is giving me the silent treatment right now. So.
Well, he's passed out on the couch, so I think, know what's going to happen with that.
Or maybe he reached an enlightenment, and now he no longer has the need to argue with people.
Yeah, I wonder if he went into Piero's room and he left this open. Is that possible?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Unless he has another computer.
I see.
You could do it on his phone or some shit like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought everything went pretty good in that. It was kind of lively. Mm-hmm.
Good talking with y'all. I mean,
yeah.
Nobody sat here and had a big, huge blowout like with Dawkins' deity.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking tard. Have you guys ever ran into that guy?
Now, is he the one? That's not the same guy that came in challenging Logic that one day, was it? That that him and that other guy had a spat going or something about Logic or something?
I'm not sure.
No, there was a guy that came in here and he started with the insults and well, it's not logical to do this. Why would you say that? That kind of thing. And we had no idea what he was talking about or what he was coming in for, but it looked like he was just trying to start a fight. And then another guy followed him from another place where he did this, and he started
instantly call him a troll.
Yeah, and right.
Okay, that was probably him then.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was hilarious because these two guys were. It was like this one guy, he made it his mission to troll people's hangouts, but the other guy was so pissed at him that he would just follow him from hangout to hangout, which is hilarious, right?
That sounds like something that would happen with him.
Yeah, and then this dude's like telling Logic, he's like, block him, don't let him in, mute him, whatever, you know.
Yeah, he does like to come into people's hangouts and tell them how to run it.
Right.
And if he gets interrupted or something, are you gonna sit here and let your really? This is how you run your hangouts? Like,
yeah, that sounds like
demeaning and belittling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's his thing. But it was funny because the other guy just.
Logic. You got yourself. No, I don't think you're muted.
Oh, he is muted. Are you muted? Are you there, Logic? Oh.
Oh, he did say he was splitting, so.
Oh, okay. So, well, I guess we'll close it down. It'll probably just be Styzor here snoring in the. If he's got his mic. Oh, wait.
I don't know how.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah. So I'll probably end the hangout then.
You have sweet dreams, sweetheart.
Okay. You guys have a good one. He doesn't know quite what to say to that.
I'll miss Styzor. I'm already missing the guy.
Oh, just take that picture and.
I know. I'll just have to watch this later.
Take that picture and wink, and you'll keep a picture in your brain.
Yeah.
Put it in your microfiche.
Yeah. Good night, sweet prince.
Okay.
He's gonna watch this later. He'll be pretty upset.
We know how your dream is gonna start. You're gonna light a cigarette.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Good night, man. Good talk to y'all.
Yep.